Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How we doing, guys? Hope we're having a good time. Hope you guys are doing great. I think I have to make sure I've got the audio set up here. I do not. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. That should fix that. How's it going, guys? Good evening. Oh my. Oh my. Let's see. Karen Reed does not have a verdict. No. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I mean, the jury went home at something like 4:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Eastern time today. They'll be back at the court deliberating tomorrow. They actually have until Thursday. If they do not decide by Thursday, the judge is going to have Thursday and Friday off for the jury, which I think is a little bit insane. Get this fucking case wrapped up. I mean, come on now. Oh, excuse me. Still no nudes of Karen Reed. Still none of those, which I think is good. I mean, no one wants to see a leaky nude. That's disgusting. Hold on. I'm just setting up my windows down here. How are you guys doing? Again, it is, so it's Monday. It's June 16th for another couple minutes in my time zone, which means it's my half birthday. Half birthday. So my birthday was close to Christmas, obviously. And so, I got kind of used to celebrating my half birthday instead of my regular birthday. Let's go. Brandon says, unban me, Nick. Who are you banned as? I don't mind unbanning you. Trying to record that Flash video. Now you start a stream distracting me. Yes. That's what I'm here for, is to distract you, make sure that you have no opportunity to finish any projects you're working on. Let's go. Brandon says, I have no idea. Pelix 6645. Okay, give me just a second here. I don't mind going and fixing that. Who knows? You're probably just caught in crossfire. Oh, shit. Doesn't really have a great way to do this. Hold on. I'm looking. P-Lick 645. That sounds disgusting. Why are you a P-Lick? Ashley Babbitt is banned. I mean, I thought they only banned her from the Capitol building. Oh my God. So we've got some stuff to talk about today. I'll briefly talk about Karen Reed. I mean, I don't have much to say about Karen Reed. It's just, I think I know I'm not supposed to think this, but I think it's not a great sign for Karen Reed that they spent an entire weekend on their own, right? Like they were sent home on Friday. Then they got to sit on their own and think about this. And then they come back Monday and they don't have a verdict. To me, this is a pretty straightforward case. Now, maybe I'm overthinking it. And it's very possible that I am, of course. But to me, that goes towards what I think is what I've been saying, kind of my thoughts are the whole time. I do think this might end in another hung jury. Wait a minute. Let's go, Brandon. Where are you banned? Are you banned on Rumble or are you banned on YouTube? That's the real question. I look a little less pale today. Well, there's more sun. I think the lights might be washing out. The lights are definitely washing out my face. Yes. I should probably turn them down a little bit or add a counter light down here in front of me. Everybody fresh over from Good Logic. Oh, hey. Man, Joe is streaming. I like him. He's a good dude. YouTube. I don't see you on the ban list over here. I'm not saying you're not banned. I'm just saying I don't see you. So I might have to look for it later because I don't want to sit here and look at this. How'd you convince me to do this? What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, I didn't see you at all. So I'm going to call you a liar and we're going to ignore that request. Patrick Martin says you should look into SC versus Michael Colucci. Okay, what's going on there?
Thanks for being a wonderful leaky balloon knot. Enjoy listening to you again.
Thanks. Didn't the Rittenhouse verdict take a few days? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They had over 30 days of testimony. They had a lot to go through. In my brain, I'm like, well, this is really straightforward case as far as I can tell. And so for me, I'm like, I'm already on the not guilty thing. I'm like, the state never got me to guilty. So there's nothing to really sit and deliberate on and think about for me. So what the hell is this? That tells me that there's holdouts on either side. If there's holdouts on either side, to me, that means we're going to have a hung jury. I do think they'll lock in on their positions. And I think personally, that the weekend is what will cause it to be a hung jury specifically. Having that extra time for them to reinforce their decisions without being challenged by anybody else or their ideas means that they just sat there and they're like, no, this bitch is guilty, or no, this sweet angel is not guilty. And it was probably Higgins because he's a lot of fun. I'm a lot of fun. I'm a ton of fun. He's a lot of fun. And so he probably was fun timing John O'Keefe in the face with his fist until he died. And if that's the case, then they'll reinforce their decisions in their own minds, bring that to the table, and now they're confident in it. They're not making this up and then being challenged on the fly. So that's what, to me, worries me about them going home for a weekend right after deliberations started. Since this is the second trial with a case like this, why was a jury not sequestered? I don't know. They used to sequester juries all the time in the 80s and 90s, and now they just don't really do it as much. I think it's just because it's such a fundamental restriction on the jurors' liberty, like to be put into a place where they don't get to talk to anybody, they don't get any, connections to the outside world. And it's what they've determined is a less restrictive means of achieving the same goal there is to just simply make them promise not to use any social media. And if it's found out that they do use social media or watch the news or whatever, and it gets reported, then they get yeeted. Oh my gosh. Let me put this up here. Join in at supertip.gg/RL. So yes, if you guys want to participate, of course, supertip.gg/RL. You can have your super tips read by AI voices. I do have interrupting I have the interrupting ability on there. If you skip the queue, it adds. I'm reducing the price of skipping the queue today to $5. So for $5, it'll play it automatically. It doesn't. I don't even have a chance to stop it. You're unstoppable. I mean, that's not true. I can go in and pause it. If it gets too crazy and disruptive, we'll turn it off. Okay. I'm rambling way too much to start this show. Sorry. It's been 10 minutes. We're going to talk Karen Reed for just a couple minutes. And then we got to talk about this body cam footage. It's my own personal stuff, but it is very much legally related. And it's kind of funny. It's really funny to me. People have been trying to get my body cam footage from the day of my arrest. I would prefer that they don't get it. My wife and children are on there, and tons of private stuff around our house is included in that footage, and it just doesn't really belong in the public eye, in my opinion. And the law is so thoroughly on my side that it's really embarrassing that it's even going on this long. Nonetheless, Josh Moon of Kiwi Farms has employed a lawyer to try and sue the county and sue everybody except me to get the footage. And they ate a hard loss today. And they ate a hard loss in the exact way that I told them that they would. But I'm the worst lawyer on earth, so no one listens to me, and that's fine. It's funny that the first big L that Kiwi Farms has really taken in court came from the worst lawyer ever. And expect some more of them, Josh. Yes, long live liberty. Subs only mode is something I've been doing for 3 or 4 years now. I think once they added that in, I was like, oh yeah, well, people can sub for 5 minutes to chat. That's all the requirement there is. So we're going to take a look. We'll do a little bit of a deep dive into the body cam footage decision. And I'll try and explain procedurally where everything is, because this is actually really complicated. Josh was very sneaky in how he did this. And I have a lingering suspicion that they may have someone inside the county helping them out with some accidental classifications of documents and data. But that being said, that's pure speculation at this point, and I don't have anything to back it up other than the frequency by which stuff in my cases just happen to have these mischaracterizations, and they got leaked. And when it happens once, you go, okay, well, that's a mistake. When it happens 3, 4 times, you start to go, what the fuck's going on over there? But we'll talk about that. I'll show you guys the law on it. It's very clear. Like it's not even close. And Josh is throwing a temper tantrum, which is funny because he's like, I'm going to get that footage. Okay, Josh, that's great. And maybe he will. I don't see the legal avenue for him to do it. And I'll show you why in the ruling that was written today. It was a bad ruling for them. It happened in the morning, and I've been having a pretty good day because of it. You want things to go the way the law is supposed to go, especially when the law is on your side. And what you don't want to see is the bullshit that got two people. It got two people to unlawfully view this footage. And when I say unlawfully, I mean on the part of the county. The two people didn't do anything particularly wrong. Although the lawyer requesting it, Matthew Harden, has made some questionable statements before the court. And if he keeps them up, he may have to account for them. That's not a threat from me. It's how court works. He seems to be trying to do anything he can to keep the people who are in the video from having a say in their own private data being released. And then also, he seems to be obscuring the fact that he's representing clients specifically, which prevents, the analysis of those clients and whether or not there's an existing conflict or any sort of other issues. It also messes with the ability to confront the people who claim to be involved. Matthew Harden is claiming his own personal interest in this body cam footage while he's not making any attempt to see it. and his client is
My son was in the NICU for 4 months. Your YouTube really helped pass the time. All I have to say is thank you. Text message was limited, so now I got Nate saying this.
Thanks, Nate. Actually, Cold Dog 91. You said your son was in the NICU for 4 months. I can't imagine that. I had a nephew in the NICU for about that long, and it was brutal. It was brutal to, on the family. We went and visited a couple times. It was during COVID, so it was even worse in that respect, because it was such a pain to go visit. But my son was in the NICU. My firstborn was in the NICU for like 3 days, and I about lost my mind. So I'm glad to help you out and provide a little entertainment and levity through that time. Glad everything sounds good now. Justin says, "Hey, Raggeds, can we get an unbreaded tonight for the nostalgias?" We'll see. But yes, we will be talking about the body cam footage and all the legality around it and what's to come with it. And then I thought Minnesota's been his hotbed of activity lately. I don't know if you guys know this. Minnesota's been crazy. And the craziest thing that happened is this guy, he went and he just straight up murdered congresswoman. I don't know. He tried to kill 2 of them, but I think he only killed 1 of them here in Minnesota. He just goes up to their house, knocks on the door. They let him in for some reason, even though he looks like a fucking horror movie. And then he's like, blam, 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 and he kills him. And then he's on the run for a couple days. Well, they've picked this guy up. They arrested him. But something really interesting happened is the federal government is now involved. And the federal government has taken over the case and is going to seek the death penalty. Minnesota does not have the death penalty. The federal government is going to take over the case and seek the death penalty. Thoughts on it are probably that there is, I believe they're going to use a terrorism statute to go after him because the hit is politically the hit seems politically motivated. He had specific flyers. He apparently visited the homes of 2 other congressmen that night who just didn't happen to be home, so they ended up surviving, which is like good time to be out doing whatever gay stuff they were doing. The guy he just straight up murdered politicians, and he seemed to have a political message. So that allows a possibility of the federal government to get him on terrorism charges and potentially off the guy. So pretty crazy to see. That's very rare. That's not a common thing. Most murders are dealt with by state law, which makes sense because they happen within the state. It's rare to have the federal government take over in a murder case. Like we saw them tack on in the Chauvin case using deprivation of rights, right? But that's not a capital offense that will merit a death penalty. And so what you had with the Chauvin case is you had a way for the federal government to ensure that Chauvin would go to prison even if something happened with the state prosecution. And so, you didn't have this pursuit of the death penalty there, but we do in this case now. And so that's kind of wild to see. What do we got here?
Nick, do you love black people?
I do. I think they're very funny. In a Rut says, Nick, it's nice to see you looking healthier. Hey, thank you. I'd love to see you and Drex get back together. Maybe your combined degeneracy can bring back Captain Planet. There's one side of that equation that you got to deal with, and it isn't this one. So that being said, we'll just keep going with that one. I have no control over that situation at all. All right. So we'll talk briefly, I guess, about Minnesota. There's not a lot to say, but then, of course, we have a breakfast casserole to finish. I don't know if you guys want to do that, but we do have a breakfast casserole that's been just waiting for us to dig into it. All right. Let's do this. Let's talk Karen Reed. Karen Reed is in the jury's in deliberations. Everything's been presented. I have a bunch of Karen Reed videos that are in the hopper. I just need to make thumbnails for them. I did put up my closing argument in the case, which is not anywhere near as long as Brennan's or Jackson's. Mine was only about 25 minutes, I think. But I think it's a little bit different view on a different approach to it. And one of the things that if I were doing her closing argument, I would take the time that was given to me by the judge. So if I was actually doing it as her lawyer, I would take the full hour and 15 minutes that was allotted. I wouldn't have truncated it down to 25 to 30 minutes. But the time that would be spent would be similar to what Jackson did anyway, which was to sit and go through in specific detail the points that you wanted to hit. And I didn't want to sit and do that. One, it would require either me to write down like a list of all the points that, the evidentiary points that I wanted to hit, and then to sit there and read them, which I think it's really boring. It was even boring when Jackson did it. It's not his fault. It's just tedious. So I don't think that makes for great YouTube content. I wanted to get the thematic elements of it and the rhetorical part of it out. And so I put that out there. You guys can see it. I do have Jackson and Brennan's closing arguments, which will go up with my, with my commentary. Excuse me. Oh my God. Stop yawning. Which will go up with my commentary as soon as I get the thumbnails done for those. I also have a video of Alessi when he made his final mistrial motion, which I sat on ChatGPT the other night, like just trying to get it to do what I wanted to make a thumbnail. And I got so frustrated that I rage quit and left. I needed to start over. And I wanted it to make a 3-panel comic in widescreen format, and it wouldn't do it. It was just too stupid to figure it out. Eventually I typed, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you so stupid? And it didn't have a good answer for that. Kevin says, you're a good lawyer, man. Everybody messes up in life. Oh, thanks. I had a run, man, of some crazy decisions and some really bad decisions, and some really tough and stressful times that were laced with some really, really good moments at the, all told. So, but hey, life goes on long after the tale of living is gone. Cup of Soothe says, I settled in 2018 and then they shot and killed a father of 2. Now I have to stop the owner of America's 3rd largest home improvement chain before he kills again. Details on my Rumble channel. Oh yes, Cup of Soothe is after the Menard, like a guy from the Menards family, I guess. Which I don't know what they do. Like I don't know how the Menards family intimidates people, but I assume they like drop off a shed like right in front of your door, and you're like, well, how do I get out of my house now? Because if you get out of the house now, you walk right into a shed. You're stuck in like a void, like a warp zone. There's no way out. You're just either in the shed or you're in your house. You can't get out. I assume that's what they do.
Hey, yo, Nick, let me ask you something. Why they call school shooters? They almost always miss the building.
Don't make no sense.
Stuffed cannoli.
Don't you dare bring up the cannoli. That's disgusting. I'm keeping track, but I'm not bringing it up until there's significantly more cannoli stuffing.
Been spending most of my life chasing drama in the online strife. The courts, they block my site. Nobody can footage here tonight. On the farms, most of my life, fat soft boy eyes ain't got no wop. Judge said, no, you ain't right. Fucked harder than Drexel's roast that night.
Damn. Yeah, the body cam footage is going to continue to elude null. People have asked me, they're like, well, are you going to release it? No. Now I'm not going to release any of it. Now I'm going to be a bitter bitch about it and not even release any screenshots or anything. Fuck you. I'm going to keep it for me. I'm going to do watch parties of me watching the body cam footage while anybody from Kiwi Farms can watch me watch it, but I won't put it on screen. I'll just sit there and watch it on mute for you guys. Because I'm a vindictive piece of shit. All right. So, like I said, Karen Reed is in deliberations now. There's a bunch of Karen Reed content that's coming out. Make sure you check out the short videos, guys. If you like them, share them. Give me feedback on them too. Like if you don't like them, or if you do like don't or do like them, just tell me what you like. Throw it in the comment section. All of that helps me with engagement, and it's really great. So go ahead and do that. That's awesome, or whatever. But yeah, make sure you check that stuff out. And I'm trying to get some shorts content up, like on the shorts channel. It's just not something I've built into my business model, so to speak. So working on getting that kind of flowing there. But the shorts feed, I mean, it just doesn't make any money. It's not really made for that. Well, it can. Some of those people like really nail the shorts thing. They're like, every one they put out is like, 700,000 views. Like, geez, how are you good at this? But for me, they don't make any money. Like this past month, I made $6 on shorts. So, but that's fine. They're good for driving growth and getting attention. So that I am working on getting them into the workflow. Eventually what you'll see is a lot more of the pre-recorded content going up on this channel. Yeah. And a consistent live stream schedule will be hopefully coming as this trial wraps up. I got to figure out what to do with the rest of, like how to live stream when there's not a trial, but there's more trials coming too. So we'll see what happens with that. Why am I talking about all this? Karen Reed is the jury's in deliberations. There's not a lot to say. Just a brief recap. I think the main thing we learned is that no expert, no testimony, no eyewitness testimony, no cameras, nothing can have can definitively say that her SUV struck John O'Keefe. Nobody can. The defense can't say it, which is good. The prosecution can't say it. None of their experts said, yeah, he was struck by this car. They don't know. I think one of them said it's possible. It's possible that he was struck by the car. That's the best they got. It's supposed to be beyond any reasonable doubt. And the best they got is it's possible he might have been struck by a car. And that's where we stand with Karen Reed. So the jury's deliberating. The fact that they're still deliberating, I don't think is the best sign for her, but other people, other lawyers out there, that Mark Betterow guy who's supposed to be on Karen Reed's team, but Bev Cannoli, she refused to approve his pro hoc vice request, so he's not able to. So he's forced to sit on the sidelines. His analysis was like they had 30 days of evidence, so don't make too much out of the fact that they haven't decided on this verdict yet. And I'm like, bro, there's 30 days of evidence, but none of it was good for the state. This should be over. I think there's too much opportunity for a compromise verdict, which is a problem, an ongoing problem in law and prosecutions. Kevin says, I got 21 at Buettner for blackmailing Taylor Swift. You got 21 at Buettner for blackmailing Taylor Swift? How'd you blackmail Taylor Swift? And how'd you get caught? And you mean 21 at Buettner, like you got 21 months in prison? What did you do? Patrick Martin says, SC versus Michael Colucci is a murder retrial that starts next Monday. Last trial was in 2018. I believe it's being streamed live. Okay. What's the details of what happened? Kind of want to know about it. Give me a second to pull it. Can I Oh my gosh. There we go. Let's see. What are we even doing? Stupid Outlook. Sorry, I'm trying to open my email so I can pull up the document on the body cam footage. But I'm still fully on Karen Reed's side. I think she should be acquitted. I just don't know that she will. So SC v. Colucci. Did Michael Colucci murder his wife? Yes. Immediately, I think he did. Garden hose murder. Wait a minute. Hold on. What just happened? Come on back. Here, I'll pull this up for you guys. By the way, to all the fathers out there, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day. Mine was great. So Kevin says, was charged with 875C, dropped to a misdemeanor. Oh my gosh. How did you blackmail Taylor Swift? I just, what the hell happened? Okay, so here we go. Here's this case that.
It was a freak accident. That's all it was. You gotta accept that. If you can't accept it, like this to you.
My man had significant man titties going. What are you doing with that sweater? No. What is happening? I like his attitude, though.
Like this to you.
And the court is declaring a mistrial.
You have a suicide where the tool for the suicide was a water hose. And I heard a number of people say that that's just hard to believe.
She put herself around a hose or something. I don't know.
How do you commit suicide with a water hose?
You tie it around your neck. You just tie it around your neck. That's how you commit suicide with a water hose. Like anything that can tie around your neck can kill you. What are we talking about? How do you commit suicide with a water hose? Eat it. That would kill you too, I think. You'd have digestive problems for weeks, and then you just die off. How could you possibly kill yourself with a water hose? I can think of several ways right now. Like you tie it around your dick, and then you jump off of a building. I think that would work. Maybe. Drown yourself in a water hose connected to your car. Okay, you people are fucking sick. What's wrong with you?
And I think that's probably where some of the people started questioning what exactly had happened in this case.
On May 20th, 2015, Michael Colucci killed his wife, Sarah. He used his bare hands and a ligature to strangle her to death.
There are no fingerprint marks. There's nothing that when you would grab your throat, it's going to leave an impression.
A lot of people on social media said they felt.
Guys, if you're looking to make an impression on a woman, you just learned how. You just wrap your fingers around that bitch's neck and squeeze. I'm kidding.
Felt like he might get away with it since he had hired Andy Savage.
Did you take the hose and put it around anybody's neck and squeeze it so that you could see where the marks were?
No, I did not.
There's no way she would ever go into a dirty alley and put a garden hose around her neck.
Why? First off, you can squeeze it so you can see where the marks are. Have you ever done that, you bitch? That guy was a little unhinged. I'm a fun guy, though. I'm a ton of fun. He's not so fun, you can tell. But I love and hate when people say stuff like this. Like, there's no way she's going to do that. Or was there a way she was going to go kill herself with a garden hose in the first place? Like, she wouldn't do it in a dark alley, though. Dark alleys aren't a lot of fun. There's just no way she could kill herself in a ginger. She's killing herself. assuming the premise that she's killing herself. She's killing herself. Why does she care where the fuck she does it? It's like, no, I'm sorry, I only kill myself at a premium Days Inn suite. I hate when people say stuff like that. Oh, there's no way. That attorney, by the way, that was representing whoever, that was Mr. David Carradine with the demonstrative there. Ooh. Suddy. Husband was allegedly 20 feet away sitting in the car. Who pays attention to their wife? When you're in the car and she leaves, oh my God, just take a nap. What are you doing? 20 feet away? They can get away with a lot. Like suicide. Right, Lacey Peterson? Just kidding.
Her feet was partway through the fence, about here. Her body was laying on the pad.
Michael didn't do nothing. He was innocent. He's still innocent. He's going to go to his grave innocent.
There isn't factual evidence that would lead one to conclude beyond a small doubt that he actually murdered his wife.
Well, Colucci strangled his wife.
Were they fighting? You want to know, right? Like Karen Reed and James and John O'Keefe were fighting that day. I still don't think that means she hit him with a car. But were these two fighting? That this could be an interesting trial.
Wife to death. That's it. He did it with hate.
This guy? Oh, guilty. Look at him. Yeah, that guy's not selling me an insurance policy. I don't want to hear it. This guy is guilty as hell.
In his heart and malice. He is guilty of murder.
Note from the jury reads as follows. At this time, we are still deadlocked.
And it was an even split. Half the jury saying guilty, the other half saying not guilty.
What's the reaction to this mistrial?
We wish they'd reached a verdict.
It's not good to criticize the jury, but I don't for the life of me understand how they could have reached the conclusion that they did.
A lot of us didn't
like,
the whole.
They didn't reach a conclusion, right? Like they didn't reach one. The conclusion would have been to pick either guilty or not guilty, but having a 50-50 split is a non-decision. Some people say things weird.
Did it, but didn't have nothing to prove. What did do it?
He killed her. I know he killed her.
Ow.
It seemed like we have just as many question marks after the trial as we had prior to the trial.
2015. He iced his chick in 2015. He's still waiting around. He's like, can we get this trial over with? 10 years? That's a long time. Look at how young and spry he was back then. Better strangling hands. Now he's old and frail. He probably couldn't even choke himself out.
There will ever be 12 jurors in a jury who will all vote the same way.
That'll never happen. Says who? Says you? Like, it's a weird thing to say. Well, that could be an interesting case. Let's see. Huh. Testimony from those close to the Colucci's revealed a volatile marriage and financial hardships for the couple. Most rejected the suggestion that Sarah would take her own life, but Sarah's mother testified she was a mean drunk and could be verbally abusive. Ooh. Jurors were shown text messages between the couple that ranged from derogatory name-calling to professions of love. Oh, no. Do we have access to those? Oh, no, Michael. That's my new favorite thing. The text messages in a murder trial are now, that's now all I want to That's all I want to hear about. Oh, we have text messages. Wait, do we? He was just a really creative guy. This is like an interview. Uses the R word. Oh no. Someone that keeps threatening and called DSS is at my house. Are you? And then she uses the R word here. Are you retarded? Yes, you are. I cannot believe the length of your stupidity. And then she says, my mom is a bitch. And again, it seems like Sarah Lynn is responding to Michael, but we don't see text for him. It's unclear whether this one issue is going. So these people are talking about the text messages, but they don't just have like a list of them. Somewhere they exist. Let's see. I'll have to look for these. Daedalus 62 says, hey Nick, have some money. Hey, I like that. That's a good plan. I'll take it. Thank you. Okay. Well, anyway, yes, this South Carolina versus Colucci could be an interesting trial. Oh no! At the time of her death, toxicology tests revealed the presence of cocaine and an alcohol level that was nearly 3 times the state's BAC of 0.08. Oh. Okay. It just got way juicier. Rookie numbers. Show you my tattoo. What, this one? So it's a snake. Goes all the way up. It says, don't tread on me. It's a stylized version of the Gadsden flag. All right. So juicy like a stuffed cannoli. No. Gross. Nick perks up when he hears cocaine. Lamau had to, Nick. Well, yes, but not because of that. Only because I was asking, like, were they arguing? Okay, well, now she's 3 times the legal limit drunk and she's on coke. Not that I'm speaking from experience, but like sometimes you're not really in your right state of mind if you've had that much alcohol and sufficient cocaine to keep you standing through it. So like there's who knows what could have happened at that point? Like could she have killed herself? Sure. Could he have like decided I'm gonna strangle this bitch? She's going crazy. Maybe. Absolutely. Who knows? I mean, what was his toxicology at the time? Very interesting. But anyway. Okay. Outlook. Can we? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my. Hold on. Gotta reopen Outlook now. Here we go. At what point of a cocaine habit are you legally an expert? I don't know for anybody else, but I know that I'm there. That's not true. Actually, there's tons about cocaine that I don't know. It's interesting because I'll talk to people who used to be, they'll reach out and be like, "Hey, I used to have a coke problem. Like, if you need any help or encouragement or whatever, like on kicking that, just here's my contact info." It's a really nice, polite thing that people do. It's all very good natured, but like, talk to people about their experiences, and it's like, holy crap, I didn't even know you could try stuff like that. That's wild. And so I'm still learning a whole bunch. I joke about being an expert, but like, that's all a joke. Okay, here we go. So I don't really have much to say about Karen Read. Like, I mean, what is there to say? We're all waiting. We're all waiting, Karen, for your stupid jury. Close. I got to go in and like manually reset everything. Like Adobe Acrobat. You need to get shut down. Open this fucking document, please. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Present. Okay, so can we make this better? We can, except we got to zoom back out here. What is happening? Zoom out. All right, so now we're going to move on to some things. I don't know if people are interested in this or not. Go away. But this is Fen Boredom says never won a case. I won several cases, but okay. I won some cases that really, really mattered to me to win. And they were the type of cases where it's like, well, maybe that's why I was a lawyer or whatever. And that's fine. Now I'm over here on YouTube, and I could not be happier with my employment, we'll call it. Big Fat Phony says, I want to know what they do to stay healthy and not look gaunt and scurvy riddled. Who are they?
Hey, Nick, I'm too busy watching anime like a normal adult homo. Could you promote my shit Power Ranger ripoff book?
Yes.
I know it sucks, but I need you on this, pal. Thanks. If not, I'll beat the brakes you.
Brakes off of you. Don't beat the brakes you. How'd you get that wrong?
Finally, I have arrived for, there are 3 things I am an expert in: cocaine, alcohol, and micropeens.
These are facts. There's nothing you can do or say to make that not true. Kevin says, I was in the same building as Ted G when he died. NC, I assume no cap. Who the fuck's Ted G?
Now that the defense has rested, I can admit that I've been so egregious to bait defense into calling for sidebar because I'm madly in love with Karen. Her masculine face and faint smell of poop drives me wild. Having a sidebar is the only way to get her close enough to sniff her hair.
Absolutely not, Bev. I only date members of the executive branch. The judicial isn't violent enough to make me moist.
Oh, disgusting. That was horrible. That was horrible. You shouldn't talk like that. Okay. All right. So this dropped today. This is the big news in my life, and this has dominated my mind for the day because I'm just over here laughing with two F's, and I want to go through this. So this is a current order on a motion to intervene. Now, Kevin G. The Unabomber. 10G, the Unabomber. Nick Kaczynski? Anyway, doesn't matter. Cecilia DeMoss says, let's not forget that Nick told Flash to off himself. What kind of friend does that? I've told tons of people to kill themselves. None of them listened. What are you even worried about? No one listens to me ever. And I think when I said that, we weren't really friends. I have talked a couple times to Flash recently, though. And, when Flash and I had a fight, so to speak, I was in a pretty shitty mental place. And I really, some of the stuff he said, I thought was just way, way out of pocket. But that said, I have talked to him a couple times recently, and we'll see what happens with that. But that said, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is the case of the Nick Rekieta body cam footage. All right, some details. There's background details. There are about 9 body cams that exist. Each one is about an hour to 2 hours long, and it's from each officer's different perspective during the raid of the house. All right, so there's a bunch of these things. When I was doing my omnibus hearing, there's a section in which there's 2 body cams. I believe it's the body cam of Officer Nestor, and then the other one is the Officer Pomplin. Pomplin was the lead investigator. Now, what happens in that footage is that on Officer Nestor's camera, he's talking to April, and he Mirandizes April. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, blah, 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 blah. And April says very clearly, I will not answer questions without my attorney. And so at that point, the police have a duty to stop asking questions. Once you positively assert your Sixth Amendment right, they are not allowed to continue asking questions until you have an attorney present. You've made a clear assertion of it. Now, there are ways to break that. You can start talking of your own volition, but the police officers are not allowed to directly ask you questions. There could be a significant amount of time that passes, like an hour later. An officer could say, hey, did you want to talk to us or about anything now? Like maybe some new thing happens and they're like, hey, what about this? Do you want to talk to us now? And you need to politely reassert your right. In this case, Officer Nestor Mirandizes April. Officer Pomplin walks up. Nestor needs to go somewhere else. And so he tells Pomplin she has been Mirandized. She will not answer questions without an attorney present. He's very clear on this. And Pomplin says, okay. Immediately as Nestor walks away, Pomplin starts asking April questions in a custodial interrogation manner. This is unlawful. This is a violation of her Sixth Amendment right. She answers those questions. People have speculated about what she said, and that she spilled the beans or something. No, what April said was damaging to her case more than anything, because she talked about staying over here at the house, which then places her in the bedroom where there were drugs, which is why she ultimately was charged with 5th degree possession. Okay. They should not have been able to use those statements against her because they were given illegally. That said, during my omnibus, I had planned to try and assert her Sixth Amendment rights by proxy to remove those statements and any statements that she made during that interview from the record. Those statements didn't really hurt me, and it didn't really hurt Lady Rackets, but they were really bad for April. I was trying to get those statements out. With those statements removed, she could possibly move for dismissal. And it didn't hurt me to have those statements in or out of the case. So we were prepping to try and make a proxy Sixth Amendment argument. This is not a strong legal position. The court didn't have to grant it, and didn't seem like they were going to. That said, we never actually got to this issue because my lawyer and the prosecutor just agreed that they weren't going to use those statements in my case at all. She's like, I'm not going to use those statements. You don't need to worry about it. And so rather than fighting over it, we didn't have to fight over it. We just got the issue was mooted. Now, the way the Minnesota evidence system works is in the past couple of years, they've developed this system called Mindes, and that's going to be mentioned in this order. Mindes is just an evidentiary online filing system where you can have things so that the court can pull them up very easily if you need to access and present an exhibit at a hearing or trial. So you upload things into Mindes in a pretrial status, which my lawyer did, with two of the body cams, Officer Nestor's and Officer Pomplin's. They were both uploaded there. If, and this is a big point, if something is offered into evidence in court and the court accepts it, because it has to be admissible, if those two things occur, now it is admitted as evidence. If those two things do not occur, if either one doesn't occur, like if there's no offer and therefore no admission by the court, or there is an offer but the court says this is inadmissible, if either one of those occur, they do not enter the record ever as public. They're supposed to be marked as rejected. Now, as seems to be common in my case, something happened and that was erroneously marked as admitted, even though we never offered and the court never admitted the two videos. So the videos then sat in this status. And there's been a bunch of talk in these cases about what happened with those videos. But the long and short is the county administrator, the county court administrator, allowed access to two fat women to come in and look at these videos, I believe unredacted. This is unlawful. This is a violation of the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act. This is something that I am strongly considering taking up with the county. But at this point, it's not the highest priority thing. And it's pretty bad. The county releasing those videos is very bad. Now, here's why. Each disclosure allows a plaintiff to recover for any damages that they've suffered, including emotional damages, reputational damages, etc., from the release of private data. And then there's also exemplary damages that are available for each instance. Now, the problem for the county is there are 8 plaintiffs. Right? There's me, there's Lady Rackets, there's each of our 5 children. And then, of course, April would have her own claims as well. There are 8 of us who did not consent to the release of that footage. And that footage is non-public. It is private. It has never been, it never changed legal status. Like I said, there was a clerical error in how it was put into Mindes after the hearing. That's not us. Like, that's not something my lawyer could do or not do. That's done by the county clerk. They put it in inappropriately, which means they were negligent at best. At worst, they were willful. That's a whole different thing. But that said, a negligent disclosure under the Data Practices Act entitles each plaintiff to relief for each disclosure. So we have 8 plaintiffs with 2 disclosures, so that's 16 total claims. Each of those claims carries exemplary damages between $1,000 and $15,000 on top of attorney's fees and on top of economic damages, reputational harm, and all of that stuff. So I don't know if you guys are good at math. That's a lot of fucking money. Bleezer says, lol, I love how the county clerk apparently made dozens of errors in your case. Not dozens, 3 or 4, but 3 or 4 really, really important ones in which stuff that should not have been public was made public. And we don't know if it was all the county clerk. That's part of the questions. That said, explain how it was public for weeks until you called White. We didn't know. It shouldn't have ever been public. And the way that Hardin filed, he didn't properly serve any of the parties in the footage because it was listed as admitted. It wasn't. He didn't have to approach it in the way of trying to get it changed from non-public to public. But it should never have been listed as admitted. Again, that's not something that is done by the parties. That's done on the back end. There's no, the only way we would have known is to manually go in and check. Which, why would you think that would happen is one of the real questions here. But that being said, we won't talk about timelines. That being said, I want to be very clear. Hardin is acting in a little bit of a suspect way, but he's not responsible for the unlawful actions of a county employee. He's not responsible for that. And that's not the thing. What Hardin is responsible for is misrepresenting facts and law to the court. And that, I don't know if he'll ever have to deal with that. Courts kind of just are like, no, let's just resolve the issue and get it out of here. They don't really like going after people unless the misrepresentations are egregious. Although this one could cost the county quite a bit of money, so maybe they will. But Hardin represented that these were offered and admitted into court when they never were, and he was told that they weren't as well, and still represented that they were. So that, or well, his lawyer did. That's a bit of a lie. But anyway, so what happened then, and this is where things get really complicated. Hardin asked for the administrator, the GDPA administrator, to offer an opinion on the case. And they refused to offer an opinion on this case. Instead, they offered an opinion on a different case, or referred to an opinion on a different case. And they said, if these are similarly situated people, this should guide you. The problem is we weren't similarly situated. In the other case, stuff was offered into evidence and accepted. In our case, it never was. That was not served upon us. So we didn't know that this even happened. It's not like it was supposed to be served on us, but it wasn't. And they took that, and they took that file or that advisory opinion and presented it to the county. And then that's why the county released the documents or the video, or allowed screening of it. But see, this is a big problem for the county, because the county sheriff resisted this, and there's a whole bunch of indications that this shouldn't be happening, and still someone allowed it to happen. So that authorization, once we found out about it, we filed a motion, and the county filed a motion and we joined it. But the county filed a motion to have the documents properly classified as not admitted. The judge granted it immediately, and that's why only 2 people were allowed to view the body cam footage instead of 3. And the body cam footage was classified properly as not admitted because it never was. And so that's where the status changed, and that initial case was then mooted. So the next step is what we're talking about here. And this is where Matthew Harden, Josh Moon's lawyer, is attempting to intervene in my criminal case. And his plan was to intervene in the criminal case, which is a kind of a strange thing to do, but for the limited purpose of exercising a constitutional right. His claim was that he had a constitutional right to access the footage, and that's what the judge is going to be talking about in this order. Subsequent to this, and I know this is getting annoying, there's a separate lawsuit where now Harden is suing the sheriff, the county clerk, and someone else. So he's suing all of them. Again, I have not been served in this, and nor have my children, nor has my wife, and to my knowledge, neither has April. And this is a problem for them anyway. You have to serve the person who has a party interest or a privacy interest in this. That's in the law. But that being said, we'll have to bring ourselves into that suit to make sure that our rights of privacy are preserved. And that's a step coming up. And people are trying to draw a distinction between this motion to intervene and that separate lawsuit. But I think as we go through this, you'll see that this is written in a way that is indicative of what's to come in that next lawsuit, and that Josh Moon will lose badly. So sorry for all that preface and prefatory bullshit, but it's important to know where this is. And there are people out there, I'll briefly address this, people who are like, you should let this go. You should just move on. I can't. I can't just let it go and move on. I'm not initiating this action here. This stuff should all be private under the law. There is no legal there's no legal remedy which would make it non-private, and the arguments that they've raised about it are flatly fucking retarded. That being said, I have to respond to it. If I want to preserve my rights, I have to respond to it. So it's not something that I want to sit around and dwell on. I would much prefer this to all be over. But that said, I think the frivolous nature of this suit, I think someone owes me $6,000. But we'll see. Mike Hunt says, it's incredible that Aaron is famous now, just not in the way he wanted. Sad face. Ryan Tyler Palmer says, keep rocking. Love your insight. Inexorable means you can't be stopped. It's my favorite word of all time. It is a great word. I agree.
Mama say, mama sa, muma kusa. Mama say, mama sa, my micro pain. Mama say, mama sa, muma kusa. Mama say, mama sa, my micro pain. Oh snap, I meant Kurt's micro pain. Nick, delete this. PLZ.
Is that a Rihanna song that we're doing there? Is that this labored joke? Is that Rihanna?
Sorry, Nuck. My wife raided my room. I did mean beat the brakes off of you. I was beating off to Naruto and panicked. Buy my book.
Why would you beat off to Naruto? I don't believe that. Okay, here we go. So we're going to read through this real quick. I think I've given you enough background on it. I know that was a lot. My bad. And Nick, I've been meaning to say this for a while. That arm tattoo does not look good. It looks gay. Well, that's what I was going for, so I'm winning. I'm winning. Oh, Michael Jackson? What the fuck? What fucking song is that? Like, I can't get it without the melody. All right, so we have State of Minnesota versus Nick Rekieta as defendant. This is my criminal case. Order following motion to intervene. The above entitled matter came before the Honorable Stephen J. Wenzel, Judge of District Court, based on a motion to intervene filed by interested party Matthew Harden for the purpose of asserting a right of access to evidence updated to Mendes or uploaded to Mendes. Based on the files, exhibits, records, proceedings, and being fully advised in the premise, the court makes the following findings of fact. Interesting. That's a very complicated question. Let's just say that relationship is very strained. It is long over. Here we go.
Why does Nick think his audience created an ironic micropene army? Our fans are the micropene army. Andy and I both have micropenes. Our audience is hereby deemed the true micropene army. Whoa, buddy.
Whoa, buddy! Sounding kind of like aim, aim, aim. Aim, Andy. All right, here we go. So here are the findings of fact. On August 18th, 2024, defendant filed pre-hearing memorandum that identified the contested issues for the omnibus hearing as probable cause for the search warrant, firearm seizure, and the admissibility of a third-party statement to law enforcement. 2 body-worn cameras. Oh, it was Robbie Brannis and Quinn Pomplin. Sorry, I said Nestor. It was Brannis. Were referenced in defendant's pre-hearing memorandum in the section regarding admissibility of a third-party statements to law enforcement. Prior to the omnibus hearing, defense counsel uploaded a variety of exhibits to Mendes in preparation for the hearing. Included in the uploaded exhibits was the footage from the 2 body-worn cameras. An omnibus hearing was held on August 21st, 2024. At the omnibus hearing, defense counsel clarified that the search warrant and firearm seizure were the contested issues for the omnibus hearing. Defense withdrew his third issues involving certain statements by a co-defendant made on the body camera videos. And this is true. This was done at the omnibus and before anything happened. Raggedy Man says, I'm sorry, I'm lost. Why do they want these body cams? It's hard to explain. They want to, I guess, see the inside of my house, which was a mess at the time. Although, like I said, the mess has been a little bit exaggerated to the point where people say that, like, they say that people were like living in filth and squalor, which is not true. That part is not true. The house was definitely messy, but there was no filth and squalor there. But why do they want these body cams? People have varying reasons for wanting them, but some people just think it will be humiliating for me, I guess. And I don't know. I don't know that it would be all that humiliating for me. I don't really care that much, but it's the private space of my wife and children, and so I really don't, and they're on it, so I don't really want that out there. But their efforts are a little bit masturbatory and awkward. Gover Big Guy says, I'm late and gay, but what's your take on the Minnesota assassin, needle or no needle? I'm generally opposed to the death penalty because I don't think the government can do anything right. I have to think about that question. Vector Media says 9-year-old on coke, hedonism 2. There's no 9-year-old on coke. Hedonism 2 isn't at my house. Polycule, well, I mean, I guess. DMT, I never got to try the DMT, damn it. Living in filth, that isn't true. The next part, not true. Stop this. Gross. We can get rid of you. Goodbye. Elf says, Nick, it was Michael Jackson's Wannabe Starting Something being referenced in that super tip. We'll never do it again. So gross. I hate listening to it. All right, so here we go. Yeah, omnibus hearing was held. Right. Defense withdrew third issue. Court discussed with defense counsel what records uploaded to Mendez were being offered. Defense counsel stated he was going to get rid of the first two, which was in reference to the sworn camera exhibits that were uploaded to Mendez. The court asked the state if there were any objections. The state noted an objection only to a separate video, later ruled as admissible by the court. This video was not body-worn camera video. This video was a YouTube video of either Aaron's or mine. The body cameras were mistakenly marked as admitted in Mendez after the hearing. The court did not consider the uploaded body-worn camera footage in deciding the remaining omnibus issues. So this is the big problem for Josh, is that the camera footage never, ever entered the court. On April 22nd, 2025, Mr. Hardin filed a Minnesota Judicial Branch copy request form requesting access to the footage of the two body-worn cameras that were uploaded to Mendez by defense counsel and marked as admitted. On May 1st, the court granted Mr. Hardin's Minnesota Judicial Branch copy request form, observing that they were marked in Mendez as admitted, but restricted their viewing only at the courthouse by appointment. And this is this is a very strange thing to have happened, because the people with the potential privacy interests were not served in this. On May 29th, 2025, the state of Minnesota filed a motion to correct court records in the criminal file. The state moved the court to correct court records to properly indicate that the two body cameras were never offered nor received as exhibits at the omnibus hearing. This is all very straightforward. On May 30th, the court reviewed the transcript and granted the state's request to correct court records. Both parties agreed that their intent was not to offer the body camera footage marked in Mendez as received, and the court did not rely on such footage in deciding the limited omnibus issues. The Mendez recording was amended to mark the two body cameras videos, as not accepted, so they remain designated as pre-hearing only. On May 30th, 2025 and June 1st, 2025, Matthew Hardin filed a notice of motion and motion to intervene for the purpose of asserting a right of access to evidence. Mr. Hardin seeks to intervene to consider his briefing on whether the two body camera videos uploaded by defendant to Mendez are public data. On June 6th, Mr. Hardin filed supplemental memorandum in support of his motion to intervene and cited Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. Yes, that is the Abrego Garcia that you are thinking of, the national case that's going on right now, et al. Versus Christy Noam et al. United States District Court for the District of Maryland, civil case file 825CV00951, PX June 4th, 2025. On June 6th, defendant filed responsive memorandum in response in opposition to Mr. Hardin's supplemental authority. All facts contained in the memorandum of the court are incorporated by reference as findings of facts. Okay, so that's the court's set of facts that they're going to use to make this order. The court accepts Mr. Hardin's prior motion and filings for limited intervention for the sole purpose of considering the issue of access to records. 2, when uploading the footage from the two body-worn cameras to Mendez, the status box was mistakenly checked to indicate the exhibits were admitted. The admitted status of these two exhibits was inaccurate and required correction, and correction to the access allowed. Therefore, Mr. Hardin's motion to access two body camera videos in this case is denied. The court's May 1st order granting limited access to these body-worn cameras was rescinded as a result of the access request is hereby denied. The memorandum of the court is incorporated by reference, which we'll get to right now. So this is Josh and Kiwi Farms losing. That's what it is. This is them losing. And the memorandum that follows will show why they'll continue to lose. Yeah, I see some people in the chat saying there is no public interest in this video, and that's correct. There is none. There's no dispute about what happened in the video. The police asserted that they found cocaine. I pled guilty to the possession of cocaine, all of the other substances, like everything that the police said that they did. I pled guilty to those facts. I didn't dispute them. I have not actually publicly disputed them, despite the people at Kiwi Farms, and in particular Josh, stating that I did. I did not do that. He's just literally fucking retarded, and he can't understand English. Ironically, that's actually what caused the fight between Josh and I. Is I had texted him, and it's like, "Hey, Josh, this is I'm saying this as a friend. You're too fucking retarded to understand like basic human interactions. And so sometimes like you don't get when people are joking, or you don't get when like a story is being told about maybe years ago and being blended with current experiences, and your brain has trouble delineating between the past and the present. And so what you do is you take things that happen in the past and you transpose them onto things that are happening in the present and vice versa, and you then draw improper conclusions." My entire messaging to Josh was like, you also live in a circle of insular retards who have a similar problem. They have a similar inability to understand social cues and to understand the English language in basic human communication. And so the thing that you're doing is generating a game of telephone that's happening with autism involved, and people are creating false stories, and they're making them into facts in their mind because they're self-reinforcing, kind of like how a video game journalist would write an article for two different publications and cite back to one of the articles to justify the subsequent article, right? Like, so they would give themselves their own authority. That's just how Kiwi Farms has started operating and been operating for years. And so I messaged Josh, tell him that. I'm like, you should really be on guard against this, because it's really hurting your analysis of people and what's going on. He lost his fucking mind over this criticism, and it's the correct criticism. Josh is retarded. He's dumb, and he's not unintelligent. He's just fucking idiot. And it's something to do with his like stunted social status or autism or whatever it is. He is unable to read basic human communication. He doesn't get jokes, for example. He just doesn't understand them. But that's what started all, like, the Josh and I's feud was me just, and I was trying to be nice. I'm like, hey, like your shit's all retarded or whatever, and you don't understand these things, and you should, is making your analysis, which I actually, at the time, I was like, you know, Josh and I were on good terms. And so I was like, you know, I want your analysis to be better. But he lost his mind.
Nick, you're absolutely correct on this issue, but what you need to understand is Josh's users are all low IQ, drooling morons who believe every word that comes from his fat, oversized tongued mouth.
Yeah, I know. So now let's read why Josh is wrong. Memorandum of law. Mr. Harden requests access to the footage from 2 law enforcement body-worn cameras that were uploaded by defendant in preparation for the omnibus hearing but never received by the court as evidence. Mr. Harden is making a limited request to intervene to access this camera footage under the premise of a common law right of access to judicial records and related access rights under the First Amendment. Mr. Harden requests leave to intervene to consider his filed adversarial briefing regarding access to the body-worn body camera footage. So the right to intervene. In this case, the interested party erroneously invokes Rule 24 of the Minnesota Rules of Civil Procedure to assert intervention rights. This is a criminal case, and they did try to use the Rules of Civil Procedure, but it's because it's really complicated. Like, I'm not even shitting on them for this. It's really complicated to figure out how to do what they're trying to do, which is why they've tried in 3 different places now to do it. And it's not straightforward. There's not an obvious way to do this. The proper way, I think, would technically be the lawsuit that they filed although the lawsuit that they filed has left out necessary parties, but it should be a lawsuit filed under the Minnesota Data Practices Act. And that lawsuit should involve the necessary parties of everybody who's pictured in a video. They should all be brought in to that case because each one should be able to assert their right of privacy.
Nicholas, you are a piece of shit. You need more protein in your diet. Don't be a Nick, have a lick. Aaron tells me his ex-wife's is full of that goodness.
The civil procedure rule does not apply to criminal matters. Minnesota's criminal procedure is governed by the Minnesota Rules of Criminal Procedure, and those rules contain no express provision for third-party intervention for this purpose. The court is not aware that Minnesota courts have addressed whether a party may intervene directly in a criminal case to assert right of access to judicial records as opposed to a separate civil filing. While normally non-party requests would be summarily denied, the court recognizes the importance of access when permitted. The court is also aware that several outside jurisdictions have recognized that third parties may intervene in criminal cases for the limited purpose of seeking access to records or proceedings, despite the absence of procedural rules adopted for that purpose. So again, even the court here is like, there's not really a way to do this, but okay, well, other courts outside of this have done it this way, so maybe we'll just do it. Those courts have reasoned that such limited interventions serve to vindicate the constitutional and common law rights of public access. See Stevens Media, LLC versus 8th Judicial District Court of State ex rel County of Clark. That's from Nevada. Public and press have the limited right to intervene in a criminal case to argue constitutional claims concerning access to court proceedings, et cetera, similar citations here. Despite the lack of directly applicable Minnesota authority, the court finds that it retains discretion to allow limited intervention solely to determine access rights, provided that no disruption occurs to the underlying criminal process. And this makes perfect sense. So then, and this is being done appropriately after the case is over. Right. Although a little premature because we technically still have a time to appeal. So it's not entirely closed, which is another reason that those documents should not have been released, is they're technically still confidential because they're part of an ongoing criminal investigation, which will not end until 90 days after my sentencing. This limited intervention, however, does not entitle the intervener to participate more broadly in the proceedings or to assert any substantive claims unrelated to access. Okay, so he's like, okay, we'll let him in. That's what he says here. We're going to let them intervene for the purpose of having this, arguing this right of access. So now the assertion of the right of access is the important part, because this memorandum is going to be the exact same legal reasoning that is applied in the other case. Mendez is the newly created statewide electronic system for exhibit handling. It was developed to facilitate evidence handling based on recent changes to court appearances, allowing for remote appearances for certain hearings. This is all COVID related. Mendez requires parties to upload and exchange proposed exhibits and facilitate remote and hybrid hearings by eliminating the need for in-person exhibit handling. Parties are required to upload potential exhibits before the hearing. So the law requires this, the use of this system. The court and court staff are in turn tasked with an additional administrative requirement after hearings to electronically check whether the proposed exhibits are pre-hearing offered and or admitted. Currently, the parties are unable to withdraw their own uploaded exhibits unless they request deletion from those in court administration tasked with that authority and special access. And if I'm not mistaken, these the deletion has to be pre-hearing deletion, which is kind of crazy. So that, again, this is all done by county staff, not by my attorneys. They upload it initially as pre-hearing, and then the county staff is the ones who do this. So the county staff accidentally labeling them as admitted is a county error. The Mendez system has significantly improved procedural efficiency and remote access, but has also introduced challenges, particularly where traditional courtroom practices involving verbal offers and rulings on admissibility are not strictly followed. Traditionally, exhibits have always been offered orally in court by a party introducing physical copies, followed by physical acceptance or non-acceptance after judicial ruling on any objections. This clear delineation ensured well-preserved evidentiary records. You can hear his frustration coming through here, right? Mendez, however, permits pretrial designation of an exhibit status by the uploading party, which inadvertently creates some potential for ambiguity, especially when the same formal procedures for offering and acceptance during busy court calendars are not followed. Under common law access rules, First Amendment principles, and the Minnesota Rules of Public Access to the Records of the Judicial Branch, records that are admitted into evidence and used in court proceedings are presumed to be accessible to the public unless classified as confidential, sealed by court order, or statute dictates non-disclosure, which is what happened here. Minnesota Rules of Public Access to Records of Judicial Branch 248, blah, blah, blah. It is clear that courts of this country recognize the general right to inspect and copy judicial records and documents. While Minnesota statute 13.82 and 13.825 controls the classification of body-worn camera data held by law enforcement, once that same footage is admitted as an exhibit in a public court hearing, it generally becomes a court record. At that point, judicial access rules apply. However, when a party merely uploads an exhibit to Mendez during preparation for a hearing, it does not automatically convert that potential exhibit into a publicly accessible judicial record. A proposed potential exhibit stays non-public until it is admitted during the hearing. The mere quote, the mere filing of a paper document with the court is insufficient to render that paper a judicial document subject to the right of public access. That's United States versus Amadeo. Instead, quote, the item filed must be relevant to the performance of the judicial function and useful in the judicial process in order for it to be designated a judicial document. The Minnesota Supreme Court has held that private documents generated during discovery and not filed with the court are not subject to public access. This principle supports the notion that exhibits not admitted into evidence do not become part of the public record. Quote, restraints placed on discovered but not yet admitted information are not a restriction on a traditionally public source of information. For an exhibit to become a judicial record and therefore accessible by the public, it must be formally admitted or used in proceedings. So he's laid out the rules. Now we're going to apply the facts of this case.
Josh and his users unironically believe there is some grand conspiracy by the state to protect you. The state who persecuted you is somehow Team Rikita Kiwitrun mental illness.
It's the most retarded thing ever. Like, the state has done nothing but literally destroy everything I've built. I mean, I contributed to that destruction, make no mistake. But the actions of the state, the way they worded things and how they proceeded, did nothing but absolutely demolish my life, business, relationships, all of that stuff. The idea that the state is like on my side, and these retards are so insane. They're like, Nick's family has paid off the county. Are you kidding me? Like, what would it cost? What would it even cost to do that? Like, I don't know. But this has become like a common thing. Because people cannot fathom that, one, they have problems because I said that this was the problem with the case, and since I said it, they don't like it because I'm a bad lawyer or whatever, which is fine. I don't like, people don't like my opinions, and that's okay, right? Like, that is perfectly okay. But because of that, you know, they don't believe that this is possible. So then they go to the next options. They're like, well, then how did this happen? This can't be legally correct. So it has to be something. So now there's allegations by no one important, but there are allegations out there that my family has, through some miracle of having all of the money on earth, has paid off the county itself. That we have bought this judge and these lawyers, and somehow that has happened. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't even know how you go about bribing someone and how much it would cost. It seems like it would be really expensive. But they just cannot wrap their mind around the law. So in this matter, here we are. So applying the analysis, the footage of 2 body-worn cameras were listed in defendant's pre-hearing memorandum, suggesting initial intent to rely on the videos. That's true. However, at the omnibus hearing, defense counsel later withdrew the issue, referenced the body-worn cameras. While defense counsel may not have followed typical formalities of exhibit offer and acceptance, he indicated he was getting rid of the 2 body-worn camera videos as not particularly relevant when asked about his pre-trial exhibits in Mendez. Right. Well, there was no formality of offer and acceptance because they weren't offered. So that didn't, they asked about those. It's like, just ignore those. We're not going to use them. Even so, the body cameras were mistakenly electronically marked in the Mendez system as admitted. Subsequent correspondence received by the state and defendant and further review of the record clarified that this designation was a mistake and the videos were not formally offered or admitted. Because the footage from the body-worn cameras in question were not formally offered or admitted, they remain outside the scope of public access. An erroneous clerical marking does not transform an exhibit that was not offered nor received into a judicial record accessible by the public. And then, here we have a footnote that's pretty important. Mr. Hardin argues that mistaken temporary access requires the court to allow access. This is his Abrego Garcia. And he uses a line of dicta from Abrego Garcia, which is not holding the principle that he's trying to hold. Minnesota rules of access do not permit for access if initial access was temporarily granted in error. Unlike the Abrego Garcia case cited by Mr. Hardin, any inadvertent access was not previously openly distributed or copied. The video is only temporarily allowed to be viewed at the courthouse and not subject to copying, unlike the previous publicly marked and available documents in the Abrego Garcia case, which were later requested to be sealed.
Having to deal with more people like Mr. Objection Hearsay in various micropene forms. Cough, cough, Josh, cough, cough. A mega pint for all.
Mega pints all around. All around. Okay, so he addresses Hardin's Abrego Garcia argument here, says it's wrong. Because it's obviously wrong. It's wrong on its face, and it's so wrong that it's silly. Kevin says nonviolent felonies can always be expunged. WWJD. But I won't have a felony for me unless I fail probation. So assuming I complete probation, I will never be convicted of any crime. It'll be dismissed and it'll be sealed away. Okay, therefore, yes, the body-worn camera footage is inaccessible under the principles of constitutional or common law access because they are non-public and inaccessible by the interested party. In summary, the body-worn camera footage in this matter is not public judicial record because it was never formally offered or admitted into evidence. Minnesota rules of public access to records of the judicial branch do not permit access in this instance. Because the body-worn camera footage is not part of the judicial record, the mistaken designations as admitted does not convert it into a public record. Therefore, Mr. Hardin's request to access the footage of the 2 body-worn cameras is respectfully denied. No further briefing or hearing on this limited intervention is required. Wenzel. That's a bad ruling for Josh. That's a really, really bad ruling for Josh. Harmon Smith, you saying corrupt court just shows that you have literally no ability to read the law as written. There is no way that that was ever intended to be publicly accessible. It was a quote unquote mistake by the clerk. And their making of a mistake does not obviate the court's ability to correct that mistake. And Aaron flipped out today saying the judge is corrupt. Right. I know. It was so stupid. I can't even imagine being that dumb. Frederick Little says, hey, Nick, hope you and the fathers in the chat had a great Father's Day. I did. Thank you. It has nothing to do with Josh. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Hardin specifically says he's representing clients in the matter. So it does. Just because Hardin is the quote unquote represented party, he specifically says he is representing parties in the matter. The self-professed law nerd can't read legal document? Wait, what are you talking about? I just read it. Or are you talking about someone else? Harmon Smith says, we already have a transcript. We don't need the body cam footage at this stage. Good, because you're never getting it. But that frivolous lawsuit that's been filed. I'm going to need legal fees on that one, I think. I think we might have to go after attorney's fees. $6,000 sounds about right. What do you guys think? $6,000? Who cares what you think of Josh? In the court of public opinion, you're a lunatic. Have you checked? Wait. Are you so stuck in the insular community of Kiwi farms that you think that in the court of public opinion, they think Josh is a sane person? Kevin says, no one should ever have more than 3 grams of snow at one time. Well, I have to disagree. You haven't won anything, Nick. I mean, we won this round on the body cam footage. We'll win the next one too. My spirit to yours says, I cannot imagine anyone needing content so badly they would want a video to blast all over the net that includes children experiencing a very frightening day. Ugh. No, they don't want that at all. It's not it. Frederick Little says, what do you think about the Florida sheriff saying rioters can get ran over? Rioters get cars to stop and then start, doing damage to the cars and then putting the people inside the cars in danger. I don't care if they get run over at all. M. Wheel says, oh, you said we confirming to the crazies you bullied the judge and cops into it.
Killing yourself. Not going to lie, as a fan, I would have definitely watched that body cam footage due to curiosity. The obsession over the cop cam is nuts, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is not unreasonable to be curious about the body camera footage. Like I fully accept that people would want to see it. And most people, it's just a curiosity, right? But the reasonable thing to do when it's obvious that you don't get to have the thing that you want is to go, oh, well, and you move on. Like that's the reasonable way to deal with this type of thing. It's like, shit, I wanted that. I don't get it. Okay, that's fine. That's how normal people deal with this type of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff that I would love to see in all of these cases that we cover. And we encounter something that is like, oh yeah, you can't get to that. It's like, shit, that seems really interesting. But hey, if it's not there, it's not there. Finn Boredom says Nick claimed the police planted drugs in his house. I never once did. Go find the clip. Every time I ask for that clip, someone says, well, you can infer that that's what you're saying. Except you can't. You can't unless you're retarded. I wasn't inferring that. I just said the hurdles that have to be overcome in proving a possession case. They have to prove that the people in the house possessed what was in the house and that it wasn't brought in by an outside person. I never ever accused the police of planting it at all. I said, I don't consent to searches because you never know what a police officer might have on them and even inadvertently or accidentally drop or bring into a place. So you just don't consent to searches because you might be able to have the search thrown out. But that wasn't an accusation. It wasn't even an inference. It's just true. And it's the same shit I've been saying for years. So again, you don't get to just say someone said a thing. Like, you eventually would have to put it up in papers in court. But even if I did, this is the crazy, wild thing that people don't seem to understand. Even if I had made that claim, that doesn't give you an access right to the body cam footage. Because that's not the public controversy that they're talking about when things go from public to private. Like that is not a sufficient public interest controversy to outweigh the privacy interests of the people involved. It just isn't. And again, I'm sorry that you listened to Josh Moon. Josh doesn't understand any of this because Josh isn't a person. He's a joke. He's a caricature. That being said, it's funny that video will never come out. It'll never happen. Sorry, my audience listened to me. Well, one, they didn't. But two, if they had listened to me, they would have known this outcome was coming. It was the obvious outcome. I misinformed them constantly. I was right. That being said, that's what we have in the body cam stuff. And, you never know how the court's going to rule on anything, but I'm glad they ruled correctly on this one. How would you feel if I didn't eat breakfast? What do you mean if I didn't eat breakfast? People saw the footage, Nick. That's not never. You're correct. But it's never coming out. I mean, I won't release any of it either. That being said, we have something very important to do. I've found out that this actually annoys people. So it makes me really, really happy to do it. We need to find out what happens with this breakfast casserole, right? Right, guys? How do you feel being smaller than Attorney Tom? I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm now under 5'3". Thanks, Dina Scholler. I appreciate that. Tim the Tool says, leave Kurt alone. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna leave him alone. I'm not doing anything to Kurt, by the way, other than watching his content and enjoying it. It's my favorite thing to watch on Rumble or YouTube. It's my favorite thing. I watch it with you guys. I save it and watch it with you guys because it's my favorite entertainment. I unironically mean that. I never used to watch I don't watch the content of most people. Like, I don't have a ton of time. It's either doing my own stuff or, like family stuff. So I haven't spent a lot of time watching my colleagues' footage. My, law and cooking are two things that I have interests in. And Kurt does videos that involve both law and cooking combined. And so I have been loving this content. Are we still doing the Kurt thing? Yes. It's not ending anytime soon. There's only a couple more cooking videos, but Kurt has like 3,000 videos on his channel. This is great. You miss him and come off jealous, holding conversations with 2-year-old footage. It's sad. Yep, it is. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Soup time is a glorious time.
If these people invading your personal life, you may have made bad decisions, and you did. It does not give them the right. Also, micropine in the cannoli.
Yeah, I made a shitload of bad decisions. It's been really devastating, and I don't see why the other people in my life need to continue to suffer for my bad decisions that were made. Let them move on. You get to sit here and make fun of me all day. Like that's fine. That's not changing. Kate of the Swiss says, if anyone wanted to know what a porcine human hybrid looked like, I'd give you Kurt.
Is watching the stream right now and wondering himself, who should I appoint as the new Attorney General of Texas?
Oh, wait.
Discussing this dean out there.
So this is Kurt's dream. Okay. I remember this is, we saw this at the end of, the last time we were watching it. Kurt's dream is that he'll be doing his videos, and the dean of a school or the owner of a law firm will reach out to him and be like, your videos are so good. We need to hire you. Or maybe we want you to run for the Attorney General of Texas. This is what Kurt actually wants to happen. Like he's saying this right now. This is his desire.
Hopefully will endear me to the academic class.
Hello, fellow academics. Will the academics please respond?
So maybe it will increase the probability that some law professor, some dean out there will see my stuff and think it's good and want to hire me as a law professor.
Yeah.
So having the academic stuff where I'm discussing the Supreme Court stuff and trying to explain that hopefully demonstrates that I'm a good teacher. And maybe it will wind up in me getting a job as an academic professor.
Of course.
That'd be cool.
That would be amazing.
So maybe
I want that to happen for him. I really do. I really want it. It'd be so great. Don Lagooch says keto casserole. Kurt is the best. Kurt. Blackblade says, please feel free to use any AI pics I put out based on Kurt cooking and laugh my ass off making them.
maybe that's what the payoff is.
Maybe it is.
In the end, as opposed to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, like why would you do a YouTube channel for a YouTube channel when you can do one as a self?
Maybe the Attorney General, maybe the rather the Governor of Texas is watching this stream right now and wondering himself, who should I appoint as the new Attorney General of Texas? I'm available. I'm licensed. I haven't been indicted. I'm a top quality candidate.
Hasn't been indicted. Oh, wow. Aren't you special? Stop rubbing it in my face, Kurt. I haven't even been indicted when you made this video, you asshole. Smile at me, please.
I haven't even ever been arrested. I mean, you know.
Get on my level. I'm a fun guy. I'm a ton of fun. Haven't been arrested, but I'm a lot of fun. Wait, I was arrested. Shit. Have been arrested and also...
You got 9 public intoxication charges in your 20s? That's impressive work, sir.
Fun fact, Minnesota specifically has a law allowing public intoxication.
I have gotten speeding tickets before. Yes.
No, not from walking.
I did live with a murderer. That is true. To be fair, he committed the murder while I was living with him. So he wasn't a murderer at the time I moved in. He became a murderer during the time I lived with him.
Well, this is new. Wait a minute. Hold up. This is new. What the fuck just happened? What the fuck is this? That face.
I have gotten speeding tickets before.
Okay.
Yes.
Speeding tickets?
I have gotten speeding ticket.
Uh-huh.
I did live with a murderer. That is true.
What? What happened? This guy's not a murderer. He lives with Kurt for a while and he goes, he fucking off someone. This makes sense to me. Like, I get it, right? Like, if you live with Kurt, you'd probably kill someone too after a while. Where are this is why this is the best content on YouTube. Where else would you get this data? Like, nowhere. Look at him wistfully remembering his murdering roommate.
To be fair, he committed the murder while I was living with him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he murdered someone while I lived there with.
So he wasn't a murderer at the time I moved in. He became a murderer during the time I lived with him. But I'm not sure that really speaks to me.
Nope, that's not good. That's not good at all. Kurt, what happened?
I did live with a murderer. You guys don't know that story?
No!
You don't know that story?
Tell us now! Right now!
All right.
Thank God.
So, okay. This is...
all right.
This is my first year of law school when I'm a 1L.
Okay.
I'm moving to Akron, Ohio, where I'm going to law school, University of Akron, for law school. And
I bet University of Akron is ranked way higher than the shitty school I went to. Let's see, the University of Akron School of Law ranking. God, it's going to be way better. Oh, God, it's ranked 127. Oh, God, my school that I went to is ranked 154. Holy shit. I went to such a garbage law school. Actually, the one I went to is technically closed. It merged with another school. So I don't even get to claim it anymore.
I had never been to Ohio before. And I had never visited Ohio before I moved there. Like, literally. So the place I rented to move to, I rented blind. All right, I rented blind without seeing it. And it turned out when we were there to be this complete shithole of a house. It was very near campus, so it had it going for that. It was very near campus. It was on the wrong side of campus. So to get to law school, which was on the far end of the other side of campus, it required me walking the entire length of campus every day. But it was walkable. It was this total shithole of a house.
No.
It was this 3-story house, and it also had a basement, so I guess technically 4 stories. And it was absolutely dilapidated and beat up, and the entire house, despite the fact it's 4 stories, couldn't have been worth more than, like, I don't know, $30,000 or $40,000, right? It was like a real shithole of a house. So me and my father get to this house, pull up. This is the address, and we just start moving into my house, my new house. I'm up on the 2nd floor. There's no one who lives in the basement. The basement, by the way, is completely unkept. The basement, by
There's no one who lives in the basement. I think there's probably a couple people who died in that basement, though.
the way, is completely unkept.
No.
It is dirty, dusty. There's rats. There's stuff there that's been left there from God knows when. There's one guy living on the first floor who's not a law student. He's living next to the kitchen. There's me and my friend Jeff, who is a law student, and I believe Phil Marr was up in the third floor. So it was the four of us. There was one person living on the first floor, the non-law student. Me and, no, Jeff was on the second floor. Me and Phil, I think, were on the second floor. I think it was me and Phil that were on the second floor. And Jeff was on the third floor. And so, you know, we're going to school, as one does. You know, going to school, and you know, I'm living in Akron, Ohio. It is 2004. The snow was pretty intense. You know, so you know, I was walking to and from school, you know, every day, like a mile in the snow, both ways, blah 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 blah, with my book pack and all the rest of it on. So like that kind of shit. And so like one day,
100 pounds back then.
One day, I know I'm sleeping in my.
How do you make the story about living with a guy who murders somebody boring, Kurt? How are you doing this? Is this in your improv class? And they're like, here's how to tell a story in the shittiest way. They know I forgot we were about to hear about a murder. I'm waiting to hear about the murder of someone by someone that you lived with, and I'm bored. This is awful.
Apartment, as one does, and the cops come knock on my door.
As one
and be like, I'm like, hello? And they're like, yeah, police. Open up. I'm like, all right, let me put on a shirt and some jeans.
Wow.
Put on a shirt and jeans. Like, open the door.
He wasn't wearing a shirt or jeans. This is the most scary part of the entire story.
It's the Summit County Police there, and they're like, hey, you Kurt Mueller? I'm like, yes. Yeah, we're here to talk about your roommate, such and such. The guy on the first floor, whose name I haven't used in this entire conversation.
Why not?
We're here to talk about your roommate, and we're trying to establish his movements. I think it was the day before. I think it was on Monday. I think this happened on a Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday, knocked on my door, and they're like, we want to establish his movements on Monday. So, like, can you tell us where you were on Monday? And
lawyer. I'll like a lawyer, please.
Listen, Nick, you know that I know what we know. Come. Welcome to the Dabbleverse. It sucks here, and also come for all your needs.
True.
I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. And so the police say, okay, can you tell us where you were yesterday? And I was like, And so after a while, I think I...
Look at me. I was right here. I did not leave my apartment.
figured it out. And I was like, okay, this is what I did yesterday. And here's what I think I did the day before, trying to put this together. And it turned out, here's what happened, at least as far as I understand it. My roommate on the first floor, the non-law student, had asked my friend Jeff, I think, on the third floor, who was also a 1L. We're all 1Ls, except for the guy on the first floor. We're all first-year law students, I think. Yeah, I think we're all first years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there might have been another guy there who I don't remember. Because maybe there was a 3L who was living upstairs.
Did he?
So maybe there was another guy who was
Where's
a 3L. Anyways, they asked someone in my apartment. I forget who. But my guy on the first floor asked someone, not me. It might have been the 3L who was living in the attic. But he asked him, like, how do I go about getting money that's being held in trust for me? Because apparently there was some money that had been given to him that was being held in trust for him like, basically some sort of trust fund, and he wanted to
Oh,
get
is that what
access to the
held
money.
means?
And apparently, the answer to the question was well, either after my 3L friend like answered his question, look through it. It's like either
Branter has to
your
sign.
father has to sign it over to you, or your father has to be dead.
Dude married his own dad.
So apparently, he went for option 2. Apparently,
Holy shit!
the guy on the first floor and his father. If I think this is what happened, this is what I remember happening. It just sounds so bizarre. Like, can this possibly be true? But this is what I remember. Apparently, the first.
Can you guys fathom living with someone who murders their own father for their trust money and not remembering the story? Can you imagine not remembering that the person you lived with murdered their dad for trust money while you lived with him? Like, can you imagine not like, I just don't really remember. Like, this is probably one of the best stories Kurt will have in his entire life. And he doesn't remember the details at all?
The guy on the first floor and his father had a camping trip in their own backyard and stayed in a tent in their own backyard. And he killed his father using a hammer.
Is he 9?
And the hammer was apparently found in the basement
Whoa.
of the building that I was living in.
Yeah,
the basement that we all had access to. And that's where he stored the murder weapon, I think. And he was arrested by the police initially in response to check fraud because he had apparently forged his father's name or something on a check. So they didn't arrest him for the murder. They arrested him for the check fraud relating to this scheme, as I suppose they tried to build the case for him for murder, and I don't remember what happened after that. So I lived with a murderer. Thus ends the tale. I lived with a guy who apparently bludgeoned his own father to death in a tent in his father's backyard in order to get money from the trust account. Or so my memory goes.
If anyone can somehow find this case, send it to me. we got to look at that at some point.
This video makes me wish for a run-in with Rittenhouse.
So, exciting.
Okay. Akron,
So, yeah.
Ohio. Hammer, murder, tent, 2004.
It was a total shithole of an apartment, too. It was absolutely a total.
Whoa! This is not the right case, but Ohio judge sentences man to death in sledgehammer slayings. Beast. Ohio judge on Monday sentenced a 20-year-old man to death for the April 2013 sledgehammer murder of his girlfriend's mother, and also gave him a life sentence for killing her father, the Summit County prosecutor's office said. Sean Ford was 18 when he murdered Jeffrey and Margaret Schobert 10 days after stabbing their daughter, Chelsea, also 18, in the neck multiple times because she would not be intimate with him, prosecutors said. Whoa! Fucking hell. She stabs her in the neck a whole bunch. He goes and grabs a sledgehammer. He's like, I'm coming for your parents. Ford's attorneys argued he's intellectually disabled and ineligible for the death penalty. Well, that didn't work. He's dead as shit now. Probably. It says he should be. Wait, what is this? Holy crap. A new hearing ordered for Akron man given death penalty for murdering girlfriend's parent. Wait, how? Look at this. Like, these rabbit holes. What is happening? Look at this guy. He definitely did it. They unanimously affirmed the murder convictions of an Akron man who admitted to killing his girlfriend's parents with a sledgehammer, but the court ordered a new hearing to determine if he has an intellectual disability that bars the state from imposing the death penalty. Wow. So he might have beat the death penalty. He may be around. Okay, anyway, let's go back to Kurt.
Total shithole of a house. It was absolutely like one of those derelict houses that's like one step from being condemned. It was right on the on-ramp to either a state highway or the interstate. I can't quite remember what, but it was right on the on-ramp. It was an absolute shithole of a place. There were probably actually crack dens surrounding my apartment. It was an absolute shithole. And that's the story.
Why don't you say the name of the guy? God, Hallucinosa says, quote, says here in my history book that the good guys have won every single war. What are the odds? Quoting Norm Macdonald, of course.
Amazingly, apparently living in the shitty part of Akron, Ohio, is kind of sketchy.
Nah.
So yeah. I didn't move till the end of the semester. I didn't move till the end of the semester. I finished my lease.
Staring.
I stayed there for like another 3 months. I finished my lease out.
I finished my lease.
And then I moved to a different apartment complex for the next year. I decided not to renew my lease for a subsequent year.
Grok says this all happened in 2017. Is Kurt lying or is Grok lying?
So yeah. I don't remember what happened to him. I don't remember what happened to him. I don't. He got arrested for check fraud, and that was the last of the story I remembered.
OMG, I'm looking for an underage girl. Clearly, based on my limp wrist, I'm safe. So if you graduated from diapers to bloomers, be uncivil with uncivil law.
Damn. That's not good. Not good at all. What are you chuckling at? Ew.
It was a rat-infested, derelict shithole of a house. If you had looked at it and said to yourself, this is a crack den, you would have been right, probably any other time. It looks like a total, absolute shithole. Oh, no, this is when I graduated college, so I was...
Oh, wait, hold on. This might be him. Kurt might be off on his timeline. He even kind of alluded that he may be off on it. I think Akron man who killed dad with hammer sentenced to 18 years in prison. This was updated July 3rd, 2018. Summit County prosecutor announced Tuesday that Nathan Moynihan, 29, of Akron, pleaded guilty to killing his father. Let's see. Voluntary manslaughter, first-degree felony, and felonious assault, second-degree felony. February 2017, he attacked his father, Daniel Moynihan, with a hammer at his father's Akron home, striking him several times in the head. Daniel died 4 days later. Could be that one. All right, back to this.
23?
Slavarix, love you too.
I think.
Donald Gooch, welcome to Paralegal.
Because I graduated college at this point, because I'm in law school, and I was in college for 5 years. So I think I'm 23 at the time. So good times. So that was almost 20 years ago.
Sherry Lawlessness. Kurt is not 58. Kurt is 44. He said on he's 44 now. He said on one of these videos that he was 42, and that was 2 years ago. So according to Kurt, he's 44. I know there's an article out there that from like the Texas Star or something that says he's 58, but that seems to be a mistake. Only know this because it's too much autism. So just wanted to make sure you had the updated information. Nielsen says, if you're interested in a better murder story, the trial for the couple that murdered my father is coming up soon. Oh my God. Well, yeah, always want a better story. I just wanted to know, like, Kurt's like living with a murderer. Living with a murderer. And I want to hear his story. It's the worst delivered story I can imagine. Wait, what is he laughing at there?
So good times. So that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah. Crackdown in Soup Kitchen, yeah. Yeah.
I promise, if any of you live with me and you murder someone, I'll remember the story and I'll tell it really well.
So I think I've told that story before, but I guess it's been a while since I've told that story.
Have any of you guys seen Riccio? The movie Riccio, the story of Ricky. It's like a Chinese movie. This guy goes to prison, but he's like super powerful and he punches like holes in the walls and stuff. Kurt's hair and like his weird like facial demeanor make him look like the last boss of Riccio. Ricky. Oh, story of Ricky. Okay. Last boss. I got to show you guys how this guy looks. So you guys can see. This movie is so funny, like how hyper violent it was. So real quick. All right. So look at Kurt's hair and like his smile. The angles aren't right here, but like in Chinese people don't have red hair. But I'm telling you, like it's the way he moved in the movie too is so fucking uncanny how much it looks like Kurt's creepy.
Oof. This is rough.
You're all free now. Exactly. Mike Hunt says you're looking for the assistant to the warden in Riccio. I know it was the warden. He had those little tufts of hair, and it's like this one on the top is what does it, even though the warden in the picture, because he doesn't look like that evil, weird face, like he contorts his face, and he doesn't look like that before, but like this, it's the way Kurt's hair moves, and he like when he giggles and stuff back and forth that he does it.
I was like zero help to the police. I was like, I have no clue what I did yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. You know, I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure I told my mom that story. I told my dad, but I'm not 100% sure I told my mom.
You didn't tell your mom that you live with a murderer? What is wrong with you?
Yeah. My favorite type of music is bluegrass. But, like, you know, at least I've lived poor. I have lived poor. I have lived well on the other side of the tracks, my
I've
friends.
lived poor.
I have lived poor.
Yay!
So I know I can do it.
What a great accomplishment.
I was living poor and I was in fucking law school studying law. That's good shit.
What is that? Like, why is this so funny?
So I've lived a very interesting life.
No, you guys. So yeah, look, he just told the most boring murder story I've ever heard in my life, and he's like, "I've lived a very interesting life." Oh, I'm convinced. Please tell me again how you went to Walmart. Adrian, is this just the Kurt channel now? Yes. Yes, it is. Why would you think it's anything else? It says the Kurt.
You know, I was paying for everything out of student loans. Right? I was paying for everything out of student loans. I was paying for school and all my expenses out of my student loans.
Yes, that's what they're
So to
for.
keep my loans as small as possible, I lived as poor as I could possibly live. And I was living pretty poor. I was overpaying for that apartment. I was overpaying for that apartment too. I don't remember how much I was paying, but it was definitely too much. Whatever I was paying, it was too much money. But yeah, to keep my student loans down, I, you know, live simply. My phone's about to die. I've only got 10% battery left.
Plug it in.
Let's see how the food is doing. Let's see if
Plug the phone
before the phone
in
dies.
there. Plug the phone in. Get up. Just go plug it in. It's got to be an open
I
out.
didn't quite make it to candy bar a day, and getting around by finding discarded bus transfers poor. So there was definitely another level, but well, maybe I didn't quite make it to the bottom of the poverty level, but it was close.
Ann Howery, you realize, of course, that I'm not actually a trust fund child or whatever. Like, you know that, right? Like, I grew up with two working parents in middle class to lower middle class housing. I grew up in a shitty part of Houston, Texas. Like, this weird mystery where it's like, oh yeah, Nick grew up rich. That's not actually true. It's not true at all. Oh my God.
am willing to bet that fat soulless ginger is the murder he lived with. Micro penis induced rage issues. Listening to the story makes me want to drive my forklift off the rail dock.
Don't do that. Koof will be sad. The trust fund thing comes from the Vic era, and it's actually kind of funny because so my grandfather died. That wasn't funny. And my grandfather's will was published, and a 3L law student on Twitter went and grabbed my grandfather's will and published it to Twitter for whatever reason. And in it there was what's called a residuary trust. And so a residuary trust is the potential establishment, I should say, of a trust account designed to handle a residuary of the estate. Now, when you're talking about estate planning for wealthy people, you typically deal with the money that exists while they're alive, if possible. Like, they like that. They prefer to do that. But there's this possibility that you'll write up the will and you'll write up any trust documents or insurance policies or whatever. But something will happen between the the drafting of the will and the person's death. They might come into new money. They might have an investment come in. They might sell a home. Something might happen where there is money that is unaccounted for. And so that goes into a residuary estate, if there is a residuary estate. And if you're talking about high-end estate planning, typically you would create a trust, and that trust would be in charge of the residuary estate. That way you can name trustees off, and you don't have to probate this residuary estate out. It goes into a trust fund, and the trustees can take care of it, and this entity can live on. But that only happens if there's a residuary. So my grandfather's will had a provision for a residuary trust in case there was leftover money to go into a residuary, in case there was some unforeseen event. But there wasn't an unforeseen event, so there was no residuary. There was no trust account. Plus, if there were a residuary trust account, it would have involved 19 people, I think, was the count at the time. That being said, so all these lawyers are like looking this over and they're freaking out and they're like, Nick's a trust fund baby. It's like, my grandfather didn't have a residuary. All of his money went to my grandmother, who was still alive at the time. And so like there wasn't a residuary estate that was even created. So that trust fund didn't exist. And there was one guy who, he hated me, but he was a Florida estate lawyer, and he tried to chime in on Twitter, and he's like, actually guys, this is kind of like boilerplate language for high-end estate planning, and it doesn't actually mean there's a trust there. And they just screamed at this guy. And I sent him a message. I'm like, I know you hate me, but thanks for trying. It was futile. But so it was completely based on people misreading an estate planning document. But no, like I said, grew up middle class with 2 full-time working parents. Plenty of times money was not abundant, but my parents always did provide for us.
Four minutes.
4 minutes.
Still 4 minutes left in the cooking.
Why is it still cooking slow?
Let's take a look.
Liar! What is there to lie about?
It's bubbling. It's sizzling.
You had 2 houses, though. Yes, I had 2 houses. He's still got the meat out. You. It's gross. So fucking filthy. Never a lot. It was always a cookie review. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Sip time is
glorious time. Those meat.
It's too runny. Needs to be cooked more.
It's too runny. Ew.
I'm going to put it in for another 15 minutes. Oh, no.
It's too runny. The 14 eggs
A
are
little runny. I'm going to let it cook a little longer.
Oh.
Well, my friends, we will not have the opportunity to see the finished product come out of the oven.
We will, don't
together.
You, Kurt.
So,
there's
definitely a man's kitchen. I'm not sure what that means. I feel disrespected. But unfortunately, my phone is about to die. Well, I guess we could plug it in.
Oh my God!
Get ourselves a little bit more time. I'll just sit at the desk. Do it that way. That way I don't have to sign off.
That's Superman Girl. The one like,
plugged in now?
on the loneliest island.
Come on.
Hello. This is you waking up from surgery.
1 second.
That's what's happening right now.
All right, the phone is now charging again.
How greasy is your camera? Why is it
So
so
we can,
clear? Mike Hunt says Kurt looks way more like the assistant warden. Okay, I'll find him.
Okay, Google, turn off kitchen overhead lights.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I see it, but
better.
Why don't you just wipe the grease off your front camera, you disgusting monster? Oh, fuck. Hold on. This is the pre-conversion warden from Riccio. Now you'll see it. So this is more what I was talking about with what. See, it's this hairstyle over here that reminds me of Kurt. Right? Before he turns into the creepy monster murder factory. Zoom in on his artwork. You know this one. This is the Brown versus Board of Education integration picture up here. This is a very famous picture of the little girl being walked into the little black girl being walked into the all-white school. Oh God, look at that look. This is him watching you in the dressing room. Try on the blue one.
Okay, Google, change kitchen counter light to blue.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
We can do it all over here.
I can't take it.
My live stream chat is a little bit like messing up here.
Sure it is.
Keeps stalling out.
It's stalling out because no one's talking. It's just staring.
What color do you guys want the lights under the cabinet?
They don't care.
What color do you guys want for the light under the cabinet?
Pink.
It's currently cool white. What color do you want?
Pink.
Pink?
Oh,
Pink?
yes! He's talking to me.
Green, orange?
No, pink.
Pink or blue?
I can't believe I nailed it with pink. You see that? That was fucking amazing.
Okay, Google, change kitchen cabinets to pink.
Okay, changing 2 lights to pink.
You guys don't understand. I know Kurt. Like, I've got him. I knew exactly what would be the first answer. When is this stream from? Like 2 years ago.
So that's how we do it, man. That's how we change the lights around here.
Nick loves pink. He's happy now.
We got color changing lights. We got it synced up. So we push the button, it changes the lights. We got it all figured out here to make it really fun and cool.
Oh. That lean. It's like in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker when he converts into a starship. This looks like his fucking traps are expanding up to cover up the head with like this specialized hood, and he's going to turn into a spaceship and rocket off after absconding with a couple children. Does anybody remember that? Does anybody remember Moonwalker, where he's like Michael Jackson turns into a spaceship and then opens the door? He's like, "Get in, kids." Wait, why are we cheering this on? Annie, are you okay?
Looks more purple on camera. Yeah, it does look more purple on camera than it does in real life. It's definitely lighter in real life than it is on camera.
Dude, Moonwalker was hilarious, but that scene where he turns into the robot with the fucking murder gun, that was awesome.
Could do a Broadway show with this lighting, yeah. And then I just have a button to change the lighting to anything I want, and
God, I just got this button to turn the lights to whatever. So fucking
Easy.
cool. It's like, it's easy. I love it. He's like, he is in the zone of cool. It's so great. Like, doesn't it make you feel good? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick at all here. I'm being very serious. Like, he's like, yeah, I got these lights, got this button. I can just change it to whatever I want. What's up? Fuck you. No murderers in my apartment. Like, he's on it.
Okay, Google, change kitchen overhead lights to rose.
Do that.
Okay,
changing.
How about that?
Smudgy.
And more your speed?
How about that? How about that? Oh my God. The smile and the staining.
I once dubbed Kurt Krusty. Now I realize that he's musty. The way he cook has got me shook. He's a big fat blob. Oh, I know he's now called Slop Hog.
Damn. Kurt looks like he just did the neighbor's dog. Gross. And Will says the Sean angle of the camera. He's too high in the frame. He'd have to drop down significantly. Like the top of his head would have to be down where his nose is to be Sean level. Kurt moved out of the hood. He's stress free. I agree. He's got it made.
It doesn't support blinking, no. Sure, we can dim the overhead lights. Hey, Google, change the overhead lights to 50%.
Okay. Wow.
Setting 2 lights brightness to 50%.
That's great.
Okay, Google, change kitchen overhead lights to 10%.
The dimming on Google Lights is fucking garbage.
How about that? There you go.
How about that? How about it? God, he's got the neck waddle of the Goblin King from fucking Lord of the Rings, or what was it, The Hobbit? Or no, wait, that was the Gungan King. My bad. Shit. Pastor Flash says stuff on top of the stove looks more appetizing. We're gonna get to see it. I can't wait. But also, yeah, the Goblin King.
We're just that sophisticated over on here on Uncivil Law. We can do it all, baby. Ladies, I can cook.
Yes, he can.
I can clean.
No, he
I
can't.
do dishes. I do laundry.
I'm sorry. Now I'm one to talk. But that's demonstrably not true. You're showing us that you can't cook, you don't clean, you don't do dishes, and you don't do laundry. All of those things are untrue in this video, and obviously so. How?
I can make.
He said, I'm one to talk. I'm really shitty at all those things, except I'm decent at cooking. But I hate the other stuff. But he's in this video, he hasn't done it. His countertop's a fucking disaster. He doesn't have the dishes that he needs throughout the whole thing. His clothes are all stained up and horrible.
LED lights with various light patterns. I can make it so the patterns are synced to a button, so you can just push a button and it will change to
amazing
a preset setting, so you can have like a variety of preset settings for various moods.
Would you like to touch my light button?
These particular lights do not support blinking to the music. I'd have to get other lights for that.
You need Philips
but
Hue
we can
lights.
get those kind of lights if you like, dear.
I have
get the lights that will support
they're pretty
blinking
cool.
to the music.
I don't have a ton because they're like $60 a bulb. They're ridiculous. What's that? What did he just do?
These lights do not have a hub. These lights are Wi-Fi controlled. It's one of the reasons.
Did he just fix his little hair tuft?
But we can get those kind of lights if you like, dear. We can get the lights that will support blinking to the music.
The blink. They did. Okay, yep. He just did like the Hitler come over. The blinking to the music isn't great. I've tried it. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh God, it's better now.
These lights do not have a hub. These lights are Wi-Fi controlled. It's one of the reasons I like them in particular. So these lights are hooked up to my Wi-Fi. They have an IP address.
Hell yeah. He's so funny.
I don't practice law right now. For the last year, I've just been doing the YouTube channel. But, well, that's not completely true. I've done a little bit of stuff on the side, but not very much. A little bit of consulting and stuff like that, but nothing to write home about. But for the last year, mostly I've just been doing the YouTube channel. It makes me happy.
So let's see. Ty M says, what is Kurt's viewership like these days in comparison to, say, someone like yourself, Nick? Let's see. So he's doing pretty well, man. So this month, crushing it with not this month. This is from March 19th to June 16th. He's got March 19th to June 16th, he's got 2 million views. 2,107,000 views. I don't know what I have. Let's see. I'm sure he's kicking my ass. He's doing great. My views this month. See, 1.2 million. He's got 800,000 more views than me. Rocking it. He's doing great. I mean, I didn't stream from March 19th till April 19th. April 19th was the first stream that I did, I think. I did have views coming in, though, on old videos, right? Like you can see about 1,300 to 1,500 views a day on average. These are old content. And then on April 19th is when I streamed, which went into April 20th. And so then we start to get numbers again. No, Kurt's doing great. I don't know why people think I'm like shitting on Kurt's performance. This is my, unironically, this is my favorite show on YouTube right now.
I'm going to knock the rust off this Jabba the Hutt cinnamon ringle and make him feel the force.
That's disgusting.
Come on over to my house, ladies. Come on over to my house, girls.
Girls.
Is it sustainable? I mean, I've been doing it for a year, so I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, do it.
Well, I've had to reduce my expenses in a lot of areas. I have to watch my money a lot more carefully than I used to. But I can still have a good life.
James Carson says, Nick is drunk. No. Gonna do another line on stream. I never did a line on stream. I did a line on break. It was probably 2 lines. Get another blowjob from a random married hooker. I never gotten a blowjob from a hooker at all. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get a blowjob on the night you're talking about. So there's on a lot of liquor and a lot of drugs. If there was a blowjob, it wouldn't have done anything. Plus live streaming. Blowjobs during a live stream just they don't work because you're busy. It's not right.
Life.
Pretty sure. Well, look, it's a little fuzzy. Ladies, this riveting conversation partner could be yours for one bite of pizza casserole. Yeah, not drunk. No, I can't drink, dude. If I drink, I'll go to prison. Don't be silly. I was super drunk on that the live stream back, in 2024, if that's what you're talking about. Is she under the desk? Who's she? There's no one in my office with me.
It's kind of sad the only female voices Kurt will ever hear at home is Google or Alexa.
Or the police officer investigating someone's murder. Oklahoma ganja grower says, I mean, that does sound kind of fun, though. A couple of lines and a hooker. Why does it have to be a hooker? Can't it just be someone you like? How can you enjoy it while you're piloting a 6,000-pound vehicle? Dude, I'm getting wasted. Yes, clearly.
We can play video games. I like to go to wineries, distilleries, breweries.
Hold on,
I'll take you out on a date. We'll go.
Oh, his advertisements for himself are great.
I can still have a good life.
Wait, how? Tell me about that. Tell me more about that good life.
Is it sustainable? I mean, I've been doing it for a year, so I'm going to go with yes. Well, I've had to reduce my expenses in a lot of areas. I have to watch my money a lot more carefully than I used to. But I can still have a good life.
The salary for U.S. patent and trademark attorney varies significantly based on experience. Newly qualified attorney may earn between $100,000 to $225,000, with the average being closer to $125,000 to $150,000. How does he not make a ton of money? Here's how. So this is May 19th to June 17th, 2025. So about a month. And his total revenue on Super Chats is $26.23. I don't know what mine is right now because most of my revenue is going to Super Tips, which I prefer. Okay, so I'm at 26.67, right? So similar on Super Chats, but I have Super Tips as well. And my Super Tip revenue, let's see. So when did I start Super Tips? My Super Tip revenue since starting is like 12 grand. Which I would have started sometime around the 1st of May, I think. Trying to think. God, I can't remember. I used to make a shitload more, but I've got to rebuild. I've got a lot to do to rebuild. Trial streams haven't been great for Super Chats per hour or whatever, but that's fine because I make quite a bit of ad revenue off the trial streams. Blacklight says you still fans, my dude. Oh yes, of course. Like
We can
I'm
play
not
video
complaining.
games. I like to go to wineries, distilleries, breweries. I'll take you out on a date. We'll go out together. We'll go to Georgetown, Texas. We'll go to some wineries together. We'll go to a couple different wineries. We'll find one that plays live music. We'll sit there for a while, listen to the live music, listen to the birds chirp.
This is what's going to happen, ladies.
Drink some wine together. Drive home holding hands. Maybe we'll stop at a restaurant that catches our eye as we're traveling home. A little place in a little tucked away restaurant. Have dinner there.
Yeah.
Get a martini.
So he's going to drink a bunch of wine. Then he's going to drive in a nondescript distance until he stops somewhere to have a martini, in which he will presumably drive more afterwards. How much are you drinking and driving, Kurt?
Have some appetizers. Little dinner.
Little dinner. Little din-din.
Drive home. Heated seats.
Heated seats. You're in Texas.
My favorite red wine is Zinfandel. My favorite white wine is Albarino.
Wait, did he just say Zinfandel is a red? Isn't Zinfandel a white? No, I mean, I guess white Zinfandel is white, but so Zinfandel is red. Okay. No, wait, white Zinfandel. What the fuck? Variety black skin wine group. Okay, there we go. I thought it was, I always think of white Zinfandel, so I think of it as a white wine. Anyway. Kurt's song is that Matchbox 20 song, right? He's like, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely.
The next day we can go to like one of those outlet malls. There's one nearby we can go to.
Unironically, Kurt's date sounds so terrible. Next day we'll wake up, we'll hit one of those what do you call them? Those outlet malls. Just you and me.
Also go up to Domain. Do some window shopping over there. That'd be cool.
Oh my god.
I have an SUV. I have an FX35. I have an Infiniti SUV. Comfortably seats 5. Very comfortable car, if I do say so myself.
How many
Very
times have
comfortable
you
ride.
needed 5 people in there? You won me over with the heated seats? Elizabeth, your ass is going to be so
We
warm.
could go to the gym together. Do a little workout together.
Do a little workout. I love going to the gym with women. It's awesome.
Get some gyros on the way home.
Some gyros. Got some gyros?
It'd be good.
Hallucinosis says Kurt is r/Nissan driver.
There's a nice little wine tour company that I've done before. So we could do we could do that. We could go on a bus with other people and do like a wine tour, dating tour thing. That'd be fun.
This might be fun. Don't know. I don't know if it would be.
How do I cope with depression? I don't really have a good answer to that question.
Who does? No one has a good answer to coping with depression. Depression sucks.
I just try to find things that I like and enjoy and hope for the best. I'll make you a margarita. I'll make you an old fashioned. I'll make you a martini.
How much liquor is he feeding these people?
Listen to some music together. Curl up on the sofa.
Curl up on the sofa together. Kurt and another person on the same sofa in the same space. How big is this sofa? His entire date, he's laying it out. Oh. Nicole says, yo, what the fuck? So usually after I hit the gym, I'm not thinking about gross, greasy food like gyros. Really? You're not? You're not like, you know what I want? I want a bunch of really fatty meat in my mouth right now.
You want to date a sober lady? I suppose it'll make dating a little bit more tricky in some respects, but
the comedy of that statement is beautiful. The comedy of that statement. Would you date a sober lady? Maybe. It'd make dating that lady a little more tricky. Oh, gross. How do you say things wrong like this? That is so incorrect. There's no one should think that is the proper response to that question.
you know, if she had a strong aversion to alcohol, I suppose I could make it work.
You can make it work.
I do have a fluffy blanket. I do have a fluffy blanket, and if it's not fluffy enough, we will get a fluffier blanket.
You get a fluffier one. I can do this.
We will find the fluffy blanket of your dreams.
I'll give you all the fluffy blankets you can handle. What is happening on this? This is turned into just minutes and minutes of Kurt soliciting himself. It's so good. Every time, every cooking video just devolves into this is what I will do to you if we ever are dating. Like if you ever lose that lottery.
There's a little farmer's market that happens at the mall that's near my house, Landmark Mall.
Is it an outlet farmer's market?
Go to the farmer's market. I'm sure we can find you some fluffy quilts and fresh vegetables.
That was hilarious. Fluffy quilts and fresh vegetables. What a dream. Sounds like a Saturday afternoon that I want to participate in. Just keep staring, please. Don't say another word ever again.
I like the little things in relationships. You know.
How many have you been in? Like, again, relationship noob here. 2, I guess. I try to get it right the first time. But I'm not aware of Kurt dating a lot, so
You know, I like the little things. I like being at a store and knowing that, you know, you need something and getting it for you just because you need it. Like paper towels. It's like, I bought these paper towels for you. I like the little things. Let's check on the food again, see how it's going. Yeah, we could do salsa dancing. That's cool. We could definitely do some floor dancing. Yeah, we could go dancing together. That'd be fun. I'm down for that.
Dancing with Kurt?
Yeah,
where's
cool.
that video?
Let's see what we got. Let's see how it's going. All right, let's see. Let's go.
Whoa. Where'd the meat go? Where'd the meat go? Guys, where'd the meat go? He swept it away? I didn't see that. Last time I saw it, it was right there. I didn't see it go away. What happened between you and Kurt to where you were making fun of him so badly? Well, I just started watching his show. So, like, I'm not trying to make fun of Kurt. I'm laughing. This is the best show on TV.
If you notice what I'm noticing, Kurt's lack of success with women is he's listing things he will do, not what makes him interesting. I mean, he's a slop hog, so trying to cheat.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Kurt a while back to try and help him be more appealing and like help him focus on his strengths and like try and find a partner. Because you can use YouTube as like a giant ad, right? Like to find someone. And I wanted Kurt to be successful with women, like to find someone and settle down, or guy. I don't care. I don't think Kurt's gay. He does some gay stuff, but like, I mean, it's like some effeminate tendencies, but I don't think Kurt's actually gay. But whatever, like he wanted to settle down with. I was trying to offer him some advice on focusing on his strength and kind of masking some of his weaknesses, because the presentation of the ad has to attract people in, and then they can get over, they can get over your like little idiosyncrasies, right? Like that's fine. That's what relationships are about. But he never really took my advice, which is fine. I think he would have done better. But where'd the meat go? I did not see him move this meat. Did you guys? Nigga's so hard up for content, making fun of Kurt is all he got. Right. Yeah, I mean, I streamed 30 days of the Karen Reed trial, and I made fun of Kurt on some of those streams. So, yes, you're right. Kurt's all I'm doing. That's all I got. I'm okay with that. Like, I have no problem with that happening. This is very fucking funny to me. Oh God! Oh, the grease around the side. Can you guys wait to eat some?
Well, my friends, there it is.
Anne says Nick's pink outfit sure isn't gay. That was the gayest outfit ever. Yeah, that was the point. I was trying to look like Billy Joe from Green Day. It was fun. Have you tried that? Have you tried having fun, Anne? You should give it a shot. Kurt can help you out with it. He knows how to have a good time. Oh.
Okay, Google, change all kitchen lights to cool white.
Oh. Oh God. What? It looks like liquid down here still because of all the cream he put in it and shit.
I think that's a winner, guys. I think that's a winner.
I think so too. Chop into it and start eating, buddy. It's still boiling around the edges, just grease boiling. Oh God.
So, that worked out pretty well, don't you think?
Nope, you haven't cut into
Worked out as a pretty nice little recipe, don't you think?
No.
You know? They'd be ready to eat in 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah. Be ready to eat in 15 minutes.
Homegirl, I want to see you take a bite of that thing now.
There's no lady in my house.
No
You
kidding.
asking about the painting on my wall?
Sorry. Probably had an echo going. Brown v board 3. Of course. I was just going to pause it, and he had to say that. Someone said, now 15 more minutes of the All Kurt show. No, there's 3 minutes left of his show. Chill out. We did a bunch of content before this. Calm down. No audio? Oh, shit. My bad. I'll go back. A couple more minutes then.
They'd be ready to eat in 15 minutes.
He's not going to give
Yeah.
minutes. There's only
Be
4
ready to eat in
minutes
15
left.
minutes.
Speaking of ladies, hope you stop calling your wife lady. Why
There's no
don't-
lady in my house. You asking about the painting on my wall? It's Norman Rockwell. You know that one? Norman Rockwell? The marshals taking the girl to school? Texas flag, of course. These eyes can be yours. These eyes can be
They
yours.
can be yours. The eyes can be yours. Finn Boredom, yeah.
I won that at my law school third-year auction. Law school had an auction every year. Help raise money for the school. I won that at the auction.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have that many more cooking videos, although they are long. So this one's taken like
Yeah,
four
that's since I graduated law school.
videos to get through, I think.
Well, my friends, that will bring us to the end of the stream. I hope you enjoyed this cookie stream and hangout time.
Really
I enjoyed it with you. As always, it's been a lot of fun. And, we successfully made food.
I don't know if successfully is
that would
true.
feed a family for at least a couple days.
Oh my God.
What
Yes.
kind of art do I like? I'm a bit of a sucker for like marble and jade statues. I'm a bit of a sucker for
That's really interesting. That's not any of that's not the answer I was expecting. I don't know about you guys. Andy Monemeyer says, wasn't he a computer science guy before being a lawyer? Yes. Well, I don't know that he was a computer science guy. He has an undergraduate degree in computer science, which is why I was able to do a patent attorney, computer engineering or software engineering, something like that. Can you look up the comedian Ryan Long and check out his interview outside the Diddy trial? It's hilarious. Not tonight. Ryan Long's great.
for statues made out of stone.
But after this, I think I'm it's really late.
And also where they make the stone look like fabric. Like it looks like a veil over a woman's face or something, because that look that they get from that stone, I'm a bit of a sucker for Mar.
I think Nick could party with Ryan Long. Yes, I have partied with Ryan Long. Like, absolutely. He's great. He and Danny, hilarious. Yeah, actually, when I was, what show was that? Is that Florida? Trying to think what show that was. I think it might have been Florida. Anyway, the show where I was hanging out with Ryan Long and Dick Masterson. It was funny. Like Ryan, he went to the airport to go back to Canada or whatever, but he left his passport at the at the Airbnb. So I had to call an Uber and send the passport on the in the back seat of the Uber to Ryan Long at the airport. It was kind of weird. He's great. He's really funny. What's in that cup? Sweet tea with ice.
Marble and jade statues. I like Dolly's work. Yeah. I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. As always, if you need to reach me personally, you know where to find me. Twitter, Instagram. You can send me an email, kurt@uncivillawllc.com, and all the rest of it. And I'll be off for now. I will talk to you soon. And I am planning to stream tomorrow. So if I don't see you before then, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Although I am posting videos later today. The video should have posted at 4 while we've been talking. And
Miss Upper Thigh. That's a good line. Good name. Says, see, now this reminds me of Circa Rittenhouse, Nick. I love it. Some people see that and some people don't. They see the opposite, which I don't know how to, I'm just here doing a show and laughing at stuff because I spent a couple years not laughing at stuff and taking things way too seriously, and that's not my style, man. And so, I'm just here to have a good time. I don't mean any malice towards Kurt. I don't really like Kurt anymore. After watching his content about soliciting, 17-year-old girls to come to his house for alcohol and pizza casserole, I thought that was a little much for me. And I don't wish him ill or anything. I don't think I have not called him the P word or anything like that. And I don't believe that that's true. I just, I thought that his approach there was a little bit unseemly, and it's not really my style. I mean, he creeps out a lot of the women I know, and it's fine. But I love his cooking videos, and I would watch them all day, every day. They're my favorite thing to watch.
Kurt somehow looks at least 5 years older than me, and I turned 49 in a little more than a week, but his walk was twice as far as a normal person's to law school.
Any chance of reforming the big brain panel? Yeah, I mean, if those lawyers want to come on again, I would love to have them back on. But I don't know. I haven't talked to either of them directly in a while.
I don't remember if I scheduled the one at 7, but I think I did, but I'll double check. In any event, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope for all. Cheers, my friends. The stream in the morning would be 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. Same time it is every day, 5 days a week. So 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central, plus or minus, 10 minutes. But that's usually what it is. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Until then, bye.
All right, let's there we go. We finally got through the breakfast casserole, which we didn't get to see the reveal of the eating. I wanted him to cut a serving, because his serving of that breakfast casserole was like a quarter of it. Is this a drinking stream? No, I can't do those anymore. Which is fine. I think I got way too far into the drinking. I think it really, really fucked with doing a good show. You miss Nick and Dick show? I'll invite Dick Masterson on anytime. I always enjoy talking to him. He's one of the most genuine people I know, and most honest people I know. So he's a great stream companion, and I'm really excited to see him. If you don't know, he married his longtime girlfriend, and they are having a baby. And I'm really, really excited to see him be a dad. I think he'll be a great dad. And I know that 80s Girl will be a great mom. So your sober shows suck. Drunk Nick was funny. Well, Drunk Nick is gone for quite a while. Too bad. So what am I on now? Nothing. I can't be. If I take any sort of substance, and I get random tested. If I take any sort of substance and fail a test, I can go to prison. So just sober. You highly doubt he's going to be a good dad? Then you don't know him. I know him pretty well. I've known him for a long time. Is it the same chick he stole from Maddox? I mean, you could say he stole her from Maddox, but she and Maddox have been broken up for like 4 years. Do I like fun guys? I'm a ton of fun. Fen Boredom says Nick cannot take any drugs or consume alcohol for 5 years, or he goes to jail and loses custody of his children. No, just the first part. The custody of the children thing isn't actually involved in that at all. Andy Nichols says, I quit watching when you started to be drunk every show. Yeah, that's when I had quit trying. And like it's not a good reason or whatever, but it is, the reason is a whole bunch of shit was collapsing at the same time. I was trying to manage it and couldn't really do it. And so what I did was I turned to substances to try and manage the show. It's like, oh, well, if I'm just drinking and doing cocaine, then like I'll get through the shows no problem because I could just blabber on about whatever. But that wasn't actually good. Like it wasn't good content. I wasn't researching stuff. I wasn't putting any planning or getting anything together for it. So it was just a disaster. But the way Coke works, right, is it just tells you that whatever you're doing is awesome. No matter what the truth is, it just tells you like you just feel awesome anyway. So, I kind of overlooked it. Hindsight being 2020 is it's like, man, those shows were really bad. And so trying to do better shows and also not forcing myself to do shows when I'm not, like when I don't feel like it or when I'm, when I've got a bunch of other shit going on. So. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's about it. We're good on chats. And this has been a great show. Thank you guys very much for everything. Thanks for hanging out and watching the Kurt disaster with me. And like I said, once please hit the like button. We're almost at 500 likes. So getting over 500 would be great. Once this Karen Reed trial is over and done with completely, I'll be looking to put forward some sort of figure out some sort of schedule for when I can stream when I'm not covering a trial so that people know where to find me on these things. Because that's the big thing about coming back. Oh, excuse me. People used to watch, they come to your show and it's like, well, this is my nightly entertainment. That's great. But now I haven't been doing that for a year. And so finding the right place to get to people and to get the message out is high on my priority list. I just don't exactly know where it'll land yet. But as soon as I do, you'll see me consistently streaming at that time. And then people can know where they can come find me and bitch about me laughing at Kurt. Low watermark. Thanks, man. Says good night, Nick. Good night to you. Good night to all of you. People are asking if I'm going to do the Karen Reed verdict watch tomorrow. I think I'll be on at some point. I don't know when. If I don't have some compelling content to talk about, then I'm not gonna just come on and sit around. But if I find someone to collaborate with and talk about some stuff or find some topics to cover and I'm, conscious, then I'm happy to stream. But I also got to see what's up with family life tomorrow, because I know Lady Rackets has some stuff going on. Want to make sure that if I'm needed, that I'm available. So I'll try and keep things announced and let you guys know what's up. So, all right. With that, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight, and I will see you all very soon, hopefully tomorrow. And until then, catch you next time. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along with his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight. We'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer till he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of that frog. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed